And that's my cue to start the show. Welcome to another edition of the Hard Rocket Sports Show, live from Higher Top Hard Rocket Sports Studios in beautiful scenic Monroe, New Jersey. We are your 2-hour, that's right, 2-hour weekly get-together. We bring all the biggest news from around the worlds of hard rock, heavy metal, across the wide world of sports. And, folks, welcome to Thursday night, January. We're already into the middle of January the 15th in the year of our good Lord, 2026. 26. That's right, 26. I hope you guys had a good week. Buckle up, Buttercup's going to get cold for a week or so, maybe more. They're talking snow, this, that, who knows. But it's winter here in New York, New Jersey, and we're inside in a nice warm house on Thursday night, and we're ready to give you guys a good 2 hours of chatting. Lots to talk about. Obviously, this time of year, it's going to be primarily football. We got NFL playoffs. It was a really good weekend of NFL playoffs. I'm not sure there was really any dud games. The Steelers-Texan game wasn't great. I went to bed at halftime of that one, and it wound up to be a bit of a blowout. But the rest of the games were great football games. I'm looking forward to another good this weekend. Bills, Broncos, Texans, Patriots, 49ers, Seahawks, Rams, Bears. I don't see a dud in any of them. Now, listen, any game could turn into a blowout. Any game could be bad, could get an injury or two and changes the complexion of a game. Or, one team just has a better day. We'll get to some picks. We'll get to talk about it. Obviously, the biggest news this week from around here, yes, Dante Moore goes back to college. Some people think it's because the Jets were going to draft him. I don't know. I think that could have been anybody. I got to be honest with you. I don't think the kid was ready. Did he want to wind up with the Jets the way they are right now? Maybe. But listen. There's no guarantee. He would have stuck in there if that was anybody else. There's no guarantees. And I think it was right for the kid to go back. But we'll get Jeff's take on that. Did he take it that it was about the Jets? I don't know. Again, but the big news, obviously, for this, I'm all geared up. That's right. I'm all geared up tonight. It's about the Giants and their pursuit of and their conquering and capturing of their next 24th head coach in team history, Mr. John Harbaugh. And I tell you, I'm pumped. Don't get me wrong. It's great to have a guy that is a great coach. He's a great coach. He's won a Super Bowl. He's won a Super Bowl. He has a fantastic playoff record. He's developed quarterbacks. There's a lot of good things in there. And what I like is, this isn't about, John Harbaugh's a defensive coach or he's an offensive coach. John Harbaugh's a coach. He came up as a special teams coach, So, it's all about his hires. He's already proven he can, and there's a lot to like about it. Now, listen, there are no guarantees. I've seen Dan Reeves, who went to multiple Super Bowls, came to the Giants, and did not have tremendous success. So there's no guarantees that this works. But I think any Giant fan, any football fan will tell you, the likelihood that John Harbaugh's time here is successful is much better than whether they took a shot at, Chris Shula or the defensive coordinator from the Packers or, anything like that. So to me, it was all about Shula. I'm sorry. It was all about John Harbaugh. It was about Stefanski. It was about McCarthy, and then late it became about Tomlin. And I'll get to the coaches, and especially Tomlin with Jeff. And not a surprise, but a little for a Steeler organization, 3 coaches in 60-something years, it's surprising. But we'll get into whether Tomlin deserves another chance, and certainly where he fits. Because to be honest with you, I'm not sure. So we got a lot to talk about. We'll talk about one of the founding members of Grateful Dead passing away. Twisted Sisters coming out of retirement for a 50th anniversary tour or shows. Sebastian Bach and Motley Crue. We'll talk about the remaining head coaching positions. Last week's games, this week's games, and just about anything else that pops up on our brain in the next 2 hours. So sit back, buckle up, and get ready for some good old-fashioned hard rock and heavy metal sports talk with us. And to do that, let me get my buddy on. He is my best friend of 40 years, the bass player, one of the bass players. I got to put him now. I got to context the one of the bass players for the Hard Rocket Sports Band, which is about to rear its ugly head. And of course, my buddy of 40 plus years, Mr. Jeff Blackest Sabbath Talwinski.
I am the bass player for the Hard Rock and Sports Band. Before we go any further, no. There's a guest.
Oh, that's how you quantify him.
I am the bass player for the Hard Rock and Sports Band. I was there. I helped pick the songs.
That's true.
I helped plan some of the shows.
I
played all of the shows. This is something lately that's zipping in for a few songs and then zipping out.
This will probably be the end, folks. As they say, maybe the end continues. I'm not sure, but we'll see. This is going to be fun.
I already have the set list figured out.
Oh, you have the entire set list figured out, or you have
the entire set list, but I got the important parts of the set list. I'm coming on. I'm playing the first song.
Okay.
I'm going to bow out graciously and let this other man come in, play his set, and then I'm going to finish it. So I am opening and closing the show. As with
is your right. Is your right. So yes, folks, if you don't know it, I let Jeff completely handle the band. He will set up the set list, who plays what, where, when, all that good stuff. And the order of the songs usually rolls into him. And I'll just take a step back and just have some fun. And
this is going to be, what do you call it, a group effort. But
yes,
I will not be splitting the title of co-bass player in the Hard Rock and Sports Band when this is first time around. It's not happening.
All right, listen, it's a fair conversation to have. So
Rick Allen from Def Leppard, the one-arm, right?
Yep.
How could you at this point in time call him anything else other than a one-arm drummer? You can never say, well, if he had or when he had. He's a one-arm drummer. He's been a one-arm drummer for more than half his life.
That is true.
So it's just like, this guy coming in. I don't want to mention names in case he's watching and gets all upset.
Yep, that's true.
He's
got a fragile ego. You know that.
Yeah, he is what he is, and it's all there is.
Listen, it's a fair comment. You've been here from the beginning. That the Hard Rocket Sports Band is also celebrating.
Let me get this. I've been waiting for this motherfucker to pop on. Frank Catalano, fuck you. That's one thing. Frank puts a meme up, right? A meme, and says that the Pittsburgh Steelers have had 3 coaches and the New York Jets have had 20 coaches in their existence. So I saw it and I was like, I got to fact check this and I got to see just how many coaches the Denver Broncos have had.
Right.
So I do. And what does it say? The Denver Broncos also, since 1960, have had 20 head coaches for their team.
Okay.
But yet this holier-than-thou Frank Catalano is getting all upset, and we're going back and forth out of Facebook.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This happens a lot all the time on different subjects. So this is nothing new, really.
Right.
But my thing is that if you're going to post something, stand behind it. Frank refuses to acknowledge that he's a Jet hater. Refuses to acknowledge it. Meanwhile, of course, I don't have much in the way of a leg to stand on with the Jets. They suck.
Yeah.
I didn't even watch them this year because they suck so bad. And he's like, well, you're getting upset and you're crying. I'm like, no, I just want you to own what you say. Own what you say. That's all you got to do, Frank. That's all you got to do. The Denver Broncos, 20 coaches. The New York Jets, 20 coaches. You can't point a finger. And meanwhile, look, he's firing off responses.
He is
fucking great.
Yes, and that's why I love Frank.
He get under his skin, and I know when he gets under his skin because he won't answer you. He types stuff in, but he won't hit reply to you. He puts on a new thing to see where he thinks he's getting the last word. I know what he does.
Catalano, what's with the new at Catalano Frank? What's with the new handle?
That's his YouTube thing.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm used to you popping in the other way, but that's fine. I am happy that Frankie's here. I love the back and forth with him and Jeff and myself. Frankie, I am not spared from Frankie's rant.
Okay, so now he finally. I'm sorry, Tom. This is going to happen.
Go ahead.
He finally admits it.
I didn't think there was any doubt in the world that Frankie's a Jet hater. I thought from day one.
Because he turns around and says other things. He says, "Oh, I'm not a Jet hater. I just hate their fans. Oh, I don't hate their fans. I just hate the team." Like, so just pick one and stick with one. That's all. If you're gonna put stuff, and if he could put Jet stuff up, then then he says that I was wrong for Googling. I should get it and read it. That I was wrong for Googling the stuff that about finding the about the 20 Bronco head coaches.
Well, I find that nothing wrong with that. I find that the
Well, it doesn't matter. So listen, some teams change head coaches. What could you
absolutely.
do?
Listen, the Giants are on their 24th head coach.
Listen, the Giants are in existence since what, 1930?
1925.
Yeah, I don't think you could even say anything remotely about the Giants having that many coaches in 100 years.
I listen. I think the Steelers are a special organization.
Beyond special.
Yeah, I think that they've had 6 Super Bowls. They've had multiple. They've had 3 head coaches. Probably all 3 will wind up in the Hall of Fame someday.
How can they know?
Yeah, I think that they're a Class A organization. Now, do I think that the Steelers have been in a doldrums of sorts over the last decade? Yeah, I think they've kind of accepted. I don't want to say mediocrity, but they've been happy just being relevant. They haven't been great. And I have my issues with Tomlin, Jeff. And Giants have a great head coach. Not like, I agree with that part. Yes.
We'll get to that in a minute because I got problems with Harbaugh too.
And
I know. What's that?
And I think that's fair. There are issues with Harbaugh. And I think there's issues with Tomlin. I think in this era of coordinator coaches, these guys obviously being in their positions for 18 and 19 years, it's special. It doesn't happen anymore. It doesn't.
There's very few.
It might be the last of a dying breed. I mean, Belichick, 20 years.
In 19 years, he's gotten 1 Super Bowl championship. And in the last 7 years with Lamar Jackson, I don't think he's even been to the AFC Championship game.
Again,
does that mean that I wouldn't take him as a head coach? Fuck no, I would take him in a fucking heartbeat.
Yeah, again, that's why I opened the show by saying, while I love the hire, it's the guy I was happily wanted and they got, and I think, and we'll talk more and more about how the Giants did it and all that stuff and what it means. There's no guarantee. Again, Dan Reeves went to a bunch of Super Bowls, came to the Giants, and had little to no success. I mean, just because you're have that resume doesn't mean that you're going to bring it here and you're going to be successful. Things don't always work out. So Dan
Reeves lost Super Bowls with Denver. He lost several with Denver. Lost more than 1 with Denver, and then he came he lost 1 with Atlanta. And didn't he lose 1 with the Giants?
No, he was in Giants in the early 90s after the Super Bowl run and before Fossil took over to take them to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Fossil got wiped out by
the Ravens.
Baltimore, yeah.
Yes. So again, there's no guarantee, but what I've said from the beginning is I want the adult in the room. I want a CEO, and I believe that John Harbaugh is a CEO. I think he's the guy coming in. He's going to run your organization. He's not an offensive guy. He's not a defensive guy. He came up as he came to that job as a special teams coach. So,
but he's very successful.
No problem.
I'm surprised that he signed, whether his intentions were to sign with the Giants, or whoever else. I'm surprised that he didn't go around and see what other teams had to offer, because
I was going to bring that up to you. So I
think he made his decision rather quickly.
Well, I think if the way this played out would have to mean to me that it was the Giants' job to lose from the beginning. So had he gone there and they not
$20 million a year, bro, he was making $17 million a year.
He would have got
$20 million a year now.
Yeah, he would have got that from anybody he could. If he would have went to the Dolphins, he would have got more. If he would have went to some other teams, he would have got more.
But think of this: you're going to go to the Dolphins. Why go to the Dolphins?
No. You're right.
You got Tua. You got problems with Tyreek Hill.
Their roster shot. Their salary cap screwed up.
Yeah, you can't go to Arizona. You got Kyler Murray. He's a free agent. You don't have a quarterback over there.
Yep.
I just don't see that. What were the other ones?
The Falcons. Now the Falcons have a decent roster, so there's a chance they got.
I thought that he was going to go to the Falcons.
I got to be honest with you. I thought there was a chance he could wind up there. I thought there was a chance he could wind up in Tennessee. I thought
Tennessee.
Well, again, you got to remember Tennessee's got a decent roster. They think they have their young quarterback. They have right. No. Again, so what I'm saying is they're like, okay, I love the Steelers franchise. But I would tell you right now, the Steelers roster is a dumpster fire. They got no quarterback. They are getting middle round picks. There he is. He popped up back now. It's Frank Catalano.
Wait, hold on. All kidding aside, imagine if They can't wait, Frank. Nobody wants to go to the Jets. The Jets are not getting a front-running coach unless they give him the bank and ownership of the team, and he has the last say on everything. There is no way that any coach with anything to him is ever going to the Jets. You just had a fucking quarterback that didn't know if he was going to get picked second, go back to college. How much money do you think this kid just lost?
You know what, Jeff? I maybe not, because I think, well, first off, he'll go back to Oregon and he'll make $6 million this year, right? On no
So
money.
he might make $6 million, but how much would he have made as the second pick in the NFL draft?
Agreed, but
And suppose he goes first game and he blows out his Achilles.
I had the same conversation with Matt today. There's risk and there's reward. To me, he's not going to do much better than the number 2 pick in the draft next year, and he could obviously do worse. He could hurt himself, play bad, the whole bit. So,
and here's something too. And I know that you said this. I saw some of the stuff that you said. Okay,
yeah.
You go back to the fucking team to college this year. Okay,
yep.
You think the Jets are going to fucking win 8 games, 9 games next year? Of course not. This is going to be another fucking 2-15, 3-14 team. They're competing for the number 1 pick, well, and you're coming out of jail. Out of jail, you're coming out of school. You may end up being a Jet anyway. You fucking idiot.
Oh no! Listen, there is a good chance that he's going to have be in the running to be the Jets quarterback next year. There's absolutely no doubt. Now, the Jets have a lot to talk. Well, let's do the Jets. I want to talk. You know what? Let's get my pops on. Then I want to talk a little Jets. We'll get a lot of Harbaugh, a lot of NFL playoffs. We got some Grateful Dead, Twisted Sister. We actually got a lot to talk about tonight, and I don't want to get bogged down too much with one thing, because there's a lot to get to. But let's get my pops on, so we'll keep him hanging. Because once I get to the Jets with you, I got a few minutes of stuff for you. So let's get pops on and then come back to the Jets. Appreciate having you guys all on the show. We look forward to doing this every week. We'll be here pretty straight right through the Super Bowl, and we do appreciate having you guys here with us each week. So hang on, let me get my pops on the phone, on the radio, on the show. What's up, Dad?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Good,
Mr. Florida.
How you doing, Jeff?
All right.
No, I agree with what you guys are saying. The Jets have problems, but I was trying to listen to, what do you call?
Michael Kay? Michael Kay?
No, it's quarterback for Pittsburgh.
Oh, Terry Bradshaw?
No.
No.
Aaron Rodgers. Oh, I'm sorry, Aaron Rodgers.
Well, Aaron Rodgers, right?
Okay.
And he was looking to come back, but not as a playing coach, as some kind of.
He wanted to come back as a what? As a special assistant or
something to that effect. He said something to the point that he enjoys the game so much that he's not even interested in playing anymore, but he would consider.
Huh. Let's see. Hold on. I apologize to Moshe Montana. I'm just looking to see if I can figure out what he said. It's not up on the board here right now.
Has there ever been an assistant player coach before?
Back in the day, I mean, there were guys who were player coaches back in the day.
Yeah, but were you talking about 40s, 50s?
You're talking maybe to the 60s. I mean, I think like Dan Reeves. I think Dan Reeves was some sort of a player coach. I think at the end of his career, there might have been. I know it was more prevalent in basketball and baseball.
Baseball mostly.
Yeah, and even basketball. I think Bob Cousy was a player coach. Bill Russell, I know, player coached for a while. There was a few guys, but football, not too many. But, listen, Aaron Rodgers does not strike me as a guy who can sit on the sideline and mentor other players.
He's too selfish.
Yeah, exactly. There's always a reason, and I think it's a big reason why great players can never be managers, because they can't get it through their head that not everybody has it easy to come to them. Guys like Babe Ruth, who just swung a bat and hit the ball 500 feet, Mickey Mantle, those kind of, Ted Williams was a smart baseball player, couldn't manage. Why? Because they don't understand the concept that it is for everybody. Right. So a guy, those guys, the best manager coaches are usually the guys who had to work really hard and understand how difficult the games are. And Aaron Rodgers, say what you want about him, he made the game look easy during his career. So to me, Jeff, while I understand he's not the best guy in the whole world. He's a great coach, a great player. But to think that he could coach another player, I think it's pretty obvious he could never do it.
There's a reason why certain players in the NFL have never gone in and become coaches. Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, Brett Favre, just to name a few, Roethlisberger. Rivers ended up coming back as a player, not as a coach.
Right.
So it makes you wonder why a lot of guys don't come back to the game as coaches.
There's too much involved.
What's that?
There's too much involved in football. You got defense, you offense,
I know,
you
but
drafting.
The game, they live for the game. And it's like their main thing in life is to play football.
It's
and
very hard. I don't think I've ever seen football.
Well, I would tell you that there's probably nobody who's ever been a head coach. Okay, so here's a list of guys. Several NFL coaches have transitioned from being players in the league. No. There are no examples of guys who have been player coaches in the NFL. I mean, I'm looking it up right now. Who became?
What about Frank wrote Paul Hornung?
Yeah, I'm looking it up. NFL players who
I don't think he ever coached.
Who played? Who? Hornung? I don't know if he ever coached. Played and coached. Let's say at the same time. You'd probably have to go back to like Sammy Baugh and those kind of that kind
then
of.
You go for like what do you call that? The fun line that they had. Vince Lombardi was on it.
Yeah, the 10 blocks of granite.
Yes, that's what it was. But I don't think you count that.
Yeah, I don't see. I'm going through it. I put in every different type of way. I've not found one player who coached and played at the same time in the NFL. So, again, I think there's a lot of guys who are smart enough to coach. I think, first of all, there's too many ways for them. First of all, they made too much money. Second of all, it's a lot of time. And a lot of these guys like Eli and Peyton, they can show up once or twice a week, broadcast a game. Look at Tom Brady. To me, there's nobody better at this point coming out of the NFL who could have been a head coach than Tom Brady. The guy's as bright as I watched him the other day. He was talking about how to hold the football in a windy game. I had never seen it broken down like that. I mean, where you don't hold the ball like this, you get too much air under it. You got to hold it like a backward C. The guy is brilliant, offensive mind. People respect him, but he could show up on Friday night and broadcast a game on Sunday and then fly home, and he's done for the week. These guys don't want to do it now. These guys are all too much money and have too many of the ways to make money. So
yeah, but you want to know something? You're right. If they're all about money, you're 100% right. But what about the ones that love the game and want to be there because of the game? Those are the ones that you got to ask why they're not going to be head coaches.
Yeah,
Frank said,
and it's that easy.
Peyton and Eli could coach, but they want to be owners. But until the time comes, and if they can even afford a football team, and I'm sure that, I don't know anything about owning a football team, so how would you even buy one? But you got to make the team work for you. But
yeah,
the money is astronomical. Would they even be able to get up the money to fuck?
Well, most of these guys, when they go to buy teams like Derek Jeter made a ton of money during his career, and off the field endorsements. The guy was filthy rich, and he wanted to buy a baseball team. You basically had to go out and find a group of people. You're talking about billions of dollars. I mean, these teams are worth billions of dollars now, and he had to get a group of people, hedge funds, this and that. And at the end of the day, he put up a small percentage of the money, owned like 2%, but was able to run the team as the head guy in the agreement that he would be the guy. But most of these guys can't afford to go. None of these guys.
So I think a football team would be actually blow the value of a baseball team out of the water.
I think right now it depends on the team. Like the Dodgers are worth a lot of money.
The Dodgers, Yankees, something like that. Yeah, but doesn't Jeter own like the fucking Marlins or something?
Well, he did. I think that all got sold. But yeah, I mean, you could. I would say like
not like he went out and bought the Yankees or something.
Oh no. Yeah. Now there's a good one, Frank. Tom Landry might have been a player coach at the end of his career. You're absolutely right. That's a good one. Yeah, I would. That's a very good one. But yeah, so like I said, I think it's very hard for the great players to sit there and try to understand why the rank and file guy can't understand why something works. Like okay, they pitch the ball inside, you turn quick, outside you drive the ball the other way, or watch the seams. Not everybody's built that way, and I think the great player has a hard time understanding why people can't process things the way they do.
Just look at some of the players, coaches that played ball. Billy Martin.
Right.
He sucked as a ball player. If he played on anybody else's team, he would have sucked. But he played with the Yankees.
Yeah, tell me the great manager in baseball who was a great player. Now, Pete Rose a great hitter, maybe even a great ball player. He wasn't a great manager. I mean, he had some success. Forget about the
picking winners.
Well, I'm just saying. But tell me, Yogi Berra was a great player. He wasn't a great manager. I mean, he had some success, but most of your great manager and coaches are guys who were, not great players. Mike Scioscia. Look at Joe Torre. Joe Torre was a really good player, became a great manager because he had a great team around him. But was he? Tell me the great player at any sport. Well, let's keep the baseball and football tell me how many of those guys became great managers. It just doesn't happen.
That would be baseball more.
Yeah, but I mean, even football. I mean, John Madden was a great coach. He wasn't a great player. Bill Parcells was a football player. Wasn't really good. He was a great coach. Belichick wasn't a great player. How many guys? Look at Mike Singletary. Mike Singletary was a great player and kind of pooped the bed as a head coach. It just doesn't happen often if it happens at all. So, but Aaron Rodgers, to me, Jeff, I think we both agree, has absolutely zero chance as any sort of a coach. Maybe as an owner, maybe in the booth someday, kind of.
That I can see, but I mean, the guy can't even make his mind up and let his team know, are you going to play or not?
Yeah.
How would you want him to be coach? Like when the season ends and he walks away and he's in a fucking desert somewhere eating peyote,
to be honest, Jeff, I think he's more interested in drafting and an office person, you want to call him. That's what I mean. I don't see him going on the field because he doesn't look like to me that he can relate to other people. He looks like he keeps to. You never really see him with anybody sitting on a bench.
Yeah, he's not a team guy. I mean, he doesn't seem. I mean, there are players who talk nothing but nice stuff about him, but again, for me to put him in that category of a guy who could coach a team or be a GM, I wouldn't put him in that category. So I think if he's saying it, I don't think there's many teams who are going to be rushing to get Aaron Rodgers as a consultant or part of their coaching staff. Could I see him saying, "Hey, come to camp and work with the quarterbacks"? I could see that. He the guy's obviously a first ballot Hall of Famer. I could see that.
Coming to work with quarterbacks is a little bit different than
a
season-long commitment and standing on the sideline when it's 3 degrees out or it's raining in November and you're there and it's miserable and you're in the midst of a 5-game losing streak and you got to be there. Completely different.
You have to build him a lean-to. Heated lean-to. I'm going to let you guys go. I know you got stuff you want to talk. Jeff, you take care. Good weekend. I'll see you during the weekend.
You got it, Pops. I'll see you over the weekend. That's my dad who checks in every week with us, and excuse me, and he got something. Yeah, he's good. I'll keep you updated. But in the meantime, Jeff, let's get back to the Jets a little bit. And so the Jets are in a quandary right now because I know you feel that they have no. Let's say we have trouble streaming to Facebook. This mission may be on Facebook side.
Well, listen. As far as the Jets go, okay, they're not getting a coach on a level of Harbaugh. Okay, they didn't even turn around. They knew it. They didn't even turn around and ask him because if certain players or coaches are available, you have to do your due diligence.
Right.
Okay? Mike Tomlin is still out there, but then again, I haven't heard anybody even call him Mike Tomlin. So maybe Mike Tomlin has just said, "Listen, I'm not doing anything. I'm not coaching right now." But other people will wait for him to see what he's going to do a year from now, 2 years from now, who knows? But then again, who was the guy that was there before him, man? I can't remember his name. God damn it.
From before
Steelers.
Bill Cowher.
Bill Cowher never came back.
Right. He got a good job and
well, not even that he had a good job. He probably could have come back in the NFL whenever he wanted to. At this point in time, he's probably too old to want to start the rigors of coaching again. But that's
absolutely.
one thing. But the Jets are a team that just, you know what? Who's going to want to go to the Jets? And let me say, you're a coaching candidate, okay?
Yep.
And I'm the Jets, and I call you up, and I'm like, Tom, I want you to come in for an interview. You got to be sitting there right away and be like, you know what? You're either like, I can't, or you're like, this is where I score big because I'm going to tell them I want $20 million a year. I want to pay my own coaching staff. I want to hire my own coaching staff. I want a piece of the team. You could get whatever you want if you were like a Jim Harbaugh type coach and you were looking to go to the Jets.
Right.
You understand that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
I want to pick the players in the draft. I want to do everything.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, we're having a problem on Facebook. We're back up on Facebook. For some reason, we got dropped off of Facebook. I'm sorry. Say that one more time, Jeff. I apologize.
I said you're a coaching candidate.
Yep.
And I'm the Jets, and I'm looking to hire you. And then you have a record similar to, an Andy Reid or Harbaugh.
Yep.
Okay. You're not just going to go there for 10, 15, $20 million a year. You're going to take whatever you can because you already know that this may be your last stop, not because of the age, but because of what they're going to do to you and how unsuccessful of a team they are. And you got to get everything you can. I want part ownership. I want this. I want anything to get the right guy. I bet you they would give up because what are you going to do? You're going to keep getting coaches that just, they suck. They suck.
Let me ask you this question. So, if are you a fan of Mike Tomlin?
I like Mike Tomlin. Yes, I think Mike Tomlin is a successful coach, and I also believe that, like anybody that said that he sucked and he had to go, just should live in our shoes for a couple of seasons and see what it's like.
Correct. Right.
When your team has been relevant for 20 fucking years.
Yes.
You got a lot of balls.
100%. Now, let me ask you this question. Mike Tomlin calls up Woody Johnson and says, now think about this. So the best coaches of all the best coaches out there right now, the only guy that I could think of top of my head where you go, if he got fired, I would snatch in a minute is probably Andy Reid. And Andy Reid's getting a little old and who knows? Yeah, I had to reboot it, Frankie. I don't know. They cooked me off and I had to put it back on. It's a pain in the ass, but thank you for checking. So anyway, if Mike Tomlin called you up and said, hey, I'm going to coach this year. I want to coach the Jets. Okay. Woody says, I got Aaron Glenn under contract for another year. Can you wait till next year and let me see how it works out? What if Mike Tomlin called the Jets today and said, I want to come over there. I want to coach the Jets, but you got to clean house and we got to start over. If you're Woody Johnson, do you do it?
Yeah. Yeah, of course. This man has been to 2 Super Bowls. He hasn't had a losing season in do you realize 19 years ago?
Yeah.
I was think of how old you were 19 years ago.
Yeah, no, I get it.
How many things you've seen in your life in 19 years and not one losing season. How many division championships did they have? How many times did they go to the AFC championship game? In 19 years, how many times were they favored to get to the Super Bowl? There's just so much, and he was a large part of it. And how could you not want that in your organization?
No, I agree with you, but I'll give you some knocks on Tomlin from my perspective. Okay?
I'll tell you what, you give me the knocks on him, and Frank, you join in on this one, please. Okay, even though I hate the Broncos. All right, just had to slip that up. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Serious though. Your knocks against him probably are not good enough for me to say that I wouldn't hire him.
Okay, so here's the knocks I'll give you. He, in 19 years, he has never developed one quarterback to say, I have my franchise guy. Not one. He came in.
Okay.
He had bad hip. Hold on. Let me finish.
Oh,
He
no,
had
no,
Ben
let me
Roethlisberger.
rebut that real quick. rebuttal.
Okay, go ahead.
In 19 years, the Jets have not had a franchise quarterback.
I'm not knocking the Jets.
I'm not saying to not the Jets, but I'm showing you. I'm telling you, giving me reasons why not to hire him. I'm telling you something right off the bat. The Jets haven't had a franchise quarterback.
I got you. But all I'm saying is, like, I can look at Harbaugh and say, okay, he took a rookie Flacco, and Flacco won a Super Bowl, an MVP, got a big contract, had a decent career. He got Lamar Jackson as a rookie. Okay, two MVPs, might have won a third. Okay, he's developed 2 quarterbacks. I won't say either one of them are elite quarterbacks, but at least he's developed. Tomlin, on the other hand, has not.
They did develop them, okay? But also one thing, in his 18 years as coach of the Ravens, he's had 2 quarterbacks. Okay,
Right.
Not many people can say that. He's had 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. The Jets have gone through almost 20 quarterbacks in that same time period.
I guess,
Okay.
yeah.
So what else? Go ahead.
Okay, my second thing would be.
And by the way, the reason that I would say yes to Tomlin, Harbaugh is off the table.
Correct. Listen, to me, Harbaugh was the unicorn white, the shining light in this coaching tree. And now you'll see all the other spots are going to start to fill up because multiple teams were hoping for him. Okay, I got you. You're absolutely right, Frankie. But here's the problem: when was the last time he had a second got into the second round of the playoffs? When was the last time he dominated his division? He's been good.
You're lumping too many things.
Okay,
he made it to the playoffs almost every year.
I agree. Okay?
And as far as dominating his division, you know what? The AFC North is one of the toughest divisions in football.
Not really. There's 2 teams. The Bengals only been relevant for the last 2 or 3 years, and the Browns haven't been relevant in 20 years.
You're right. But you want to know something? That division plays one another tough.
I agree. I agree.
I'm not talking about games out of the division. I said the AFC North is a tough division.
I got you.
They play one another tough. The weather is tough. There's a lot of things that are involved in that. I understand what you're saying. You're right. Cleveland sucks, but you want to know something? It's not like they go to play the Steelers and they lose 75-0.
No. Again, I agree with you. There's a lot of history there. There's obviously a huge rivalry with the Browns and the Steelers going back decades. I get it. All I'm saying is I like Mike Tomlin. I would have been thrilled to get him. I think the guy's a culture builder. I think the guy leads men. But I can look at stuff like Le'Veon Bell leaving. I can look at stuff like George Pickens. I can look at players. When was the last time the Steelers had a team where you went, wow, this team is great? The Steelers are, I won't say mediocre because that's not fair.
Mediocre.
Yeah, I would say the Steelers.
And as far as Le'Veon Bell, look what happened to Le'Veon Bell once he left the Steelers. He did nothing.
Yeah, Frankie, I'm not telling you I wouldn't take Tomlin if
No, but I'm just saying that I think you're making a stretch for reasons to not take Tomlin. I'm just saying Tomlin is an excellent coach.
Oh no! Again, I think he's a good coach. I think he's more of a culture builder, more of a leader. I think that's his forte. If you told me, does the Steelers have a great defense? Not really. They've been good. Have they been a great offense? Oh no, absolutely not. Have they developed a quarterback? No, no. Have they got to when was the last time they got to the AFC Championship game? It's got to be since they won the Super Bowl, which is what, 12?
No, I think it was 2007. I think it was.
No, 7 was the Giants. They won that Super Bowl, the second one, after the Giants won their second one, or right before the Giants. So it's either 10 or 12 or 13.
Yeah, but the Steelers have never really been a high-powered offense since what? The 70s? And that's when the game was completely
different. You can go back to Big Ben. With Big Ben, they scored points. They had a good offense with Bettis, Big Ben.
They had elite offense?
I wouldn't say they were elite. I would just say they were probably a top 10 offense. And just top
10 means is you in the top third of the league.
I am nitpicking somewhat, but here's the thing. So in today's NFL, the most important position is quarterback, yes. Right? And Mike Tomlin.
I saw what you wrote, but you want to know something? the Broncos have always been a team where they seem to have been either 4-12 or 12-4. The Broncos were never really a team that was at 500 for long. They either won their division or they didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah. I agree. I think Sean Payton's, he's done enough in his career where you'd say, he's developed plays. Drew Brees had his best years with him, and but Bo Nix is turning into something so far with him. So you could put that. Mike, again, my biggest beef for Mike Tomlin today would be, okay, Mike, the biggest position in football, maybe in sports, is quarterback, and you've never in 19 years took a guy in the draft or took somebody else's 30-year cast off and turned that guy into a legitimate quarterback. There's not one guy, Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett. There's a laundry list of them that's come and gone through there, and that's the one knock. And to be honest, it's a big knock in today's NFL.
You're 100% right, but let me ask you something. Those guys have all moved on from Pittsburgh. What else have they done in the NFL?
Nothing.
Exactly. So
but
it's not like,
but he's also part of the drafting process. So
right.
it ties in. It ties in.
They don't just turn around and say, take this guy from Wagner. They have a scouting department. A lot of teams rate these picks high.
Oh, absolutely.
And so that means that a lot of people, not just the Steelers, were wrong with some of these guys.
I'm not.
Well, I understand what you're saying. You also have to give it to that these guys did nothing in the NFL. Somehow, some way, they're still on a fucking football team. A couple of these guys. It's unbelievable.
All I'm saying is if I were the Jets, would I take him in a heartbeat? If I was the Giants and I needed a coach and he was available, he goes to the top of the list because, yes, he's been very consistent. And I always say I would take 2 Super Bowls in 15 years or 20 years and all the other years be relevant. Just, mediocre, good football team, but not great.
And what is your argument? Because you just described Mike Tomlin.
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Not a losing season in 19 years.
All I'm saying, I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm not telling you. I said it 5 times already. I would take Mike Tomlin in a heartbeat. I'm giving you the negative. I have to give the negative.
But even the negatives aren't negative.
No, the negative's a big one. It's not a deal breaker, but
Johnny Boy, relax. Relax.
No, but
what I'm talking about.
Johnny Boy. What are you talking about?
You think about that one for a minute. Johnny Boy.
No,
Pittsburgh. Slow down.
No. Again, I said it. I will take Tomlin in a heartbeat if he was available and I needed a coach. I think he's fine. My only knock on my knocks on him are minor, but they're still knocks. I would rate him below Harbaugh as a coach. Small leg.
That's fine, but you want to know something? He's been to more Super Bowls than Harbaugh has.
Agree, but again, he did it with a quarterback.
He has the same amount of Super Bowl wins as Harbaugh.
But he got it with my only knock on him, a major knock on him, is he hasn't developed the quarterback. Don't forget, he got to those 2 Super Bowls with somebody else's quarterback that they drafted.
He just went with Big Ben, right?
Yeah, he went both times with Big Ben. So again,
but he coached while he did not pick Big Ben. He coached Big Ben a majority of his career.
I don't know. That's a good question. No, I think so Ben's been retired 5 years. That puts him at 15. Yeah, I would say you're probably right. He probably got Ben pretty early on. Ben came in 2004. So Tomlin probably took over in
I think 07.
8 or 7. So yeah. So again, I'm not telling you I wouldn't take him. All I'm saying is there is a little bit of a hesitation to say
he joined them in 2007 and then led them to 13 playoff appearances, 8 division titles, 3 AFC championship games, 2 Super Bowl appearances, and 1 title.
Yeah, I mean, there's a guy. The guy is a good, solid coach. I take him in a heartbeat. But we got the Giants have their coach. Let's finish up on the Jets, and I want to get to the Harbaugh stuff. I want to get to the NFL playoffs. It's getting 7:45 already. The one thing on the Jets is, Jeff, I know Dante Moore went back to college, now the Jets are in this position. And I tell you the truth, I think it's the best thing that happened to the Jets, because Dante Moore was not ready to play football, and the Jets need a quarterback next year that can play football. So the Jets have to just do what they were going to do anyway. Go get a veteran guy who can lead you for a year, and go take those draft picks and take guys who are absolutely going to change your roster. You help the defense, get another wide receiver, shore up a little bit more the offensive line if you have to. But Dante Moore going back to college was the best. The Jets would have had no choice but to draft him because of the hype, and the fans would have went crazy. Believe me when I tell you, Dante Moore going back to college is the best thing that happened to the New York Jets.
Okay, so let's say that, okay?
Yep.
And this year, I remember there was a lot of names that they were predicting could have been first rounders, could actually go first in the draft. The kid from Alabama, Lenoris Sellers, the kid from Penn State. I don't remember those names. There was a couple different people that everybody was like, these guys could end up going in the first round, maybe even the first pick of the draft, okay?
Yep.
The kid from Indiana, the kid from Oregon, all these different places, okay? If some of these guys decide to go back to school and play out their senior year or whatever year it is in college and come out next year, you're talking about the same class of people, same players.
Yep.
Now, the Jets have 5 picks. Okay. Are they going to be forced to take a quarterback somewhere along the line? Yeah, because people are going to be like, when are they taking it? When are they taking it? And I understand what you're saying about this kid, but they may turn around and draft him next year. They may take somebody else's, just because they got 3 picks next year doesn't mean that they're going to be good picks. They could be 31, 29, and 16. You don't know.
100%.
And then they lose out completely.
I just think that Dante Moore, again, they did a study in the NFL, and what they realized that players who had less than 22 college starts had a very low chance of success rate. And if you look at it, guys like Matt Leinart, Sam Darnold, there's a whole bunch of them on the top of my head. I meant to write them down and I didn't get a chance. But they said that the more reps you got in college, which makes total sense, leads to a better early part of your career. And, if you look at some of these guys, it makes sense. And Dante Moore had 1 year. He looked like a guy when he got against better competition who was a step slow. And I think he'll go back to college and hopefully he doesn't get hurt and hopefully it'll improve his draft status. So, but at the end of the day, the Jets would have got a quarterback that they probably would have felt rushed to put on the field next year. And it may have done just the same thing to Sam Darnold or Zach Wilson or whoever you want to say was rushed.
Zach Wilson just simply sucks.
Yeah, I got you. But
Sam Darnold, for whatever reason, seems to regress as the season goes on.
Yeah. Well, again, right now, let's see what happens this weekend. He's gotten through to this point where he's the number 1 seed in the NFC. So let's, if he shits the bed this week, we can have this conversation. If he wins this game and he's going to the NFC Championship game, and he was any good, now we can talk about a different Sam Darnold. But to me, I'm with you. I have no faith in the guy. If I was betting that game, I would not go anywhere near Sam Darnold. He's due to see some ghosts. So, but the Jets, to me, this was the best of their worlds. Now, they do have to go out and get a veteran. They got to go out and get a Mac Jones or a Jameis Winston, somebody who's relevantly capable of just being not a disaster. Anybody who's not a disaster.
It's totally incapable. I am thoroughly convinced they are totally incapable. Think of some of the people that they had as quarterback on that team, okay? Since Geno Smith got drafted on the team, all right? Because they had a glimmer of hope before that. They had some guys, some players, Chad Pennington and everything, right? You had oh man, Jesus Christ, Michael Vick, he sucked.
Yep.
Geno Smith, he sucked. You had Fitzpatrick. There was a slight chance with Fitzpatrick, and he crashed and burned. And then look what happened. And then Brett Favre and some of the others, and it's just a team that's just bad.
I'm not disagreeing.
They never have. If there's 4 components for them, they have one at a time that looks like it's doing okay.
I'm with you, and I'm not disagreeing. I'm just telling you that what to me is a bad spot for them was to force themselves to draft a quarterback early in that draft. There is nobody else. Ty Simpson, all those guys. If you get them in the 2nd, 3rd round and you want to park them on your bench for a couple of years, they could turn into something. I don't know, maybe. Crossing back, all those guys.
Even if they don't take somebody in the 1st round this year.
Yep.
Okay. You know what happens? Next year, they're forced to take somebody in the 1st round. And then what happens? What fucking happens if that kid does come out and they don't take him, or their picks are way too high, or now they got to package all of the picks so they could get the can't miss kid or whatever coming out of
Well,
college.
that's the beauty of what you have. If there's a guy coming out and you can move up in the draft and you can give up, it's one thing if Archman, I don't know if Archman is going to be that kind of guy yet. Who knows? He has to have a much better year. I'll just use him as an example. If he comes out and he's the wonder kid and the team that's drafting 1, 2, 3, they don't need quarterbacks for whatever reason. Maybe it's the Giants still there. Maybe it's the Raiders. They have their quarterbacks and they want to move. The Jets can move up. Well, then you have that ability. But to me, this isn't the draft to move up. This is the draft to move down, and especially for quarterbacks. So
you say about Arch Manning coming out next year. There hasn't been a Manning that was drafted that was happy to play for the team that drafted him.
Very true. Very true.
So what makes you think that even if Arch Manning comes out next year and he fucking plays, he gets better and he seems better, because it certainly didn't look like he was doing much better this year.
Well, he had a much better second half of his season than the first 5 or 6 games. He was deer in headlights. He was terrible.
Yeah, it's not good.
After that, he got much better. He got his feet wet, and then it's like anything else. The game slows down for you. Those kind of players, those kind of athletes, as you play, the game starts to slow down, and you're not nervous, and you're not rushing things, and you see things clearer. So to me, I don't know what he's going to bring next year. We'll see. But if he has the year,
I know this much: he's going to be compared to a family legacy.
Oh, absolutely.
If he doesn't have, he can't be 4 out of 4. Okay, you're going to have to be 1 or 2 out of 4. You can't be 4 out of 4.
Because
if you are, you're going to be they're going to be labeled a bust, and you know that.
Absolutely. Listen, there's no doubt.
And what's to say that the Jets are picking that they're on the clock and he's over there on the sideline? He's going to be going to church, lighting candles, saying novenas that he don't get picked by the Jets. I mean, come on now.
Well, again, I think a lot has to do with not only the win, it's culture. Like it's, Matt said it to me today and he was 100% right. 3 months ago, 4 months ago, you would come with the free agents. We're going to go out there and go, I don't want to go to the Giants. I don't want to play for the Giants. You got to be kidding me. I don't want to. They're a train wreck. All of a sudden today, John Harbaugh's the coach. And you know what happens? Some free agents go, you know what? I want to play for John Harbaugh. I played for him already, or that's the kind of coach I want to play for, and you wind up with better players. So I'm not telling you that that's what's happening for the Jets next year. I'm just saying is culture change would be huge for them, whether it's a different coach.
Think about what you're saying for a second, because what you're saying, as much as it makes sense, that's as much as it doesn't make sense. The Giants had a good draft. They had a couple good guys. They have what looks like to be their quarterback. They have Cam Scatterbull, who looks like he's a more than competent running back.
Yep.
My only issues with those guys is that they play recklessly.
Correct. I agree. And you hope this coach calms them down.
Yeah. Not that Scatterbull plays recklessly. He does reckless things.
Yes, I agree 100%.
And he ended up getting hurt on the field. Jackson Dart, if he goes into the concussion protocol anymore, sooner or later he's going to get a bad one, and that's all there is to it. But that's something that you have to hope that somebody can teach him.
Correct.
Okay? But now, yeah, you're right. Here's somebody that may set the record straight and start putting the team on the right path.
Yep.
They signed him to a 5-year deal.
Correct.
$100 million. So, yeah, they got time and money invested in him. Is he going to be the one to do it? I don't know, but I know this much. He has some key players in place.
Yep.
Malik Neighbors, that guy's made of glass, I feel. I'm sorry.
Okay.
2 years in a row, he got hurt and his season ended early. Dart, how many times was he in the concussion protocol?
Once.
Just once, but how many times did he go to the tent? At least twice.
Well, a lot of players go to the tent. That's a different story. He missed 2 games, 1 concussion, 2 games.
Okay, but he did go and to get checked for more than one.
Yeah. Again, that you can put the half a dozen players a game who go into the tent to get checked. Some of them do it all the time, especially if you're receiver, running back. You're going to bang your head, and they're going to say, "Come off the field, and let me check you." So
you're right.
That doesn't bother me as much as
when it's your quarterback. When it's your quarterback who's supposed to be directing traffic, not being in the middle of traffic.
I agree. Listen, I hope that Harbaugh puts the nails to him and says, slide DiMaggio, slide. That's what you're hoping. All I'm saying is, listen, it's not that far-fetched that the Jets could be a better team next year. I mean, listen, it can't be worse. I mean, when I watched the last 5 weeks of that season was horrendous. I don't have any faith in Aaron Glenn. All I'm saying is, it happened during the Parcells years. Remember, the Jets were terrible. bad, 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 bad. All of a sudden, Parcells comes in, and all of a sudden, Curtis Martin's here, and Kevin Mawai's here, and all of a sudden, the defense is better. And now you're going to AFC Championship games. Now, it didn't take the next step and go to, Testaverde comes over. I get it. It only takes one major move to change a franchise. Now, who knows? Maybe Mike Tomlin sits out a year, like they're talking. He goes and does TV, and the Jet job opens up next year, and he wants to challenge, and he takes the Jets. Who knows? That's all it takes is one good shot, one big move, a quarterback, a coach, something to change it. It can happen. Will it? We'll see. But right now, my only point of this whole thing was I think the Jets benefited from Dante Moore going back to college. He's nowhere near ready for the pros, and the Jets now can breathe and go, I'm not forced to take the quarterback in the draft.
Let's wrap this up on the Jets. And with one last question, who's the quarterback of the New York Jets next year?
That's a great question. I would tell you he's not on their roster.
Well,
and he's probably on somebody.
I hope he's not on the roster.
And he's probably on somebody else's roster. Now the
okay?
question
And now let's just go a couple things. Okay, Kyler Murray, he's still young. I don't want to see Kyler Murray come here. Mac Jones got ran out of fucking New England, went on to San Francisco, filled in a few games, played pretty good, but he's already a cast-off. You want to sign another New England's Patriot cast-off? There was a reason they got rid of him. He was on a better team in San Francisco, who, by the way, that team just seems to lose players and just still keeps playing and playing and playing.
Absolutely.
That's got to be a horrid team to want to play.
I would tell you, if you ask me, the guys I would zero in on, guys like Mac Jones, who had a really nice year. Now, again, I think he may be a product of the 49ers system.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, again, it's possible, but he did take a step forward that I hadn't seen before. There was another, and you're gonna think I'm crazy on this one, but for a year he played much better after kind of getting a chance to play for a little while. If I could get Kirk Cousins on a sweet deal, I would think about Kirk Cousins for 1 year. Why not? He played very well at the end of the season for that team. If I could get Kirk Cousins on a 1 year deal, 2 year deal, second year non-guaranteed, and have him come in, he would stabilize. You wouldn't have no friction. You know, no bull.
You're right. Here's the problem. How are you going to get him away from Atlanta when Penix, you don't know what he's going to be all about, if he's going to be able to come back. And they're already paying him. They already paid Cousins to sit for how long?
I agree. I'm just saying these are the guys I would try to I'm not saying that you can go get them. All I'm saying is these are the kind of guys. Listen, Bailey Zappi's not doing anything for anybody next year. You know, I would even you know what? I know you think I'm crazy, but I watched him play a couple times this year. He's a great guy in the locker room, and he had some moments, but he had some really good moments, and that's Jameis Winston. I think Winston's a guy who comes into your locker room, sets a tone. He was a great influence on Dart. He played well enough. Again, I'm not going to Super Bowl with him, but he's better than what you had on your roster this year. I would look at guys like that and see if I could snatch one of those guys for 1 year, 2 years at most, and next year draft my quarterback. That's how I look at it. So, but
I don't know. I look at it this way. You know what? Jameis Winston, to me, if I'm the Jets, I want to try to draft a quarterback that has a little bit more upside than what they got, without a doubt. But also somebody that may be young enough, because let's say Jameis Winston, okay? He's not a young guy. He's not somebody that you could even think about building around.
Right.
When they went and they got Fields, at least Fields was 26, 27 years old. If something happens and he actually starts to play and he's playing good, they could say, you know what? There's some time for this man in the league. He sucks. He's done. He'll be out of the league probably at the end of the season. Who the fuck knows? Kyler Murray, I don't like him. He's not the one that we need. Definitely.
No. And the problem with Tua is it's the money. He's got, if he's dead space this year, $99 million if they cut him. If the Jets took over that contract, it would kill their cat. Tua's stuck where he is, and unfortunately, he might be the backup there. So I don't see it being Tua. I'm not sure if that.
No, I wouldn't want Tua. First of all, the guy's made of glass.
Well, I mean, he's better than what you have on your roster. So you have to always look at it that way. Start with that. He has another guy, and unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be ready for the start of the season. But Daniel Jones is a guy that I would think about. I know he gets hurt. I get it, but he plays well. He's a great guy in your locker room. He knows New York, and that's another guy that I would think about if he was healthy. The problem is that the Achilles, I don't think he'll be ready for the start of the season. But there are names out there that you can go to and say, let me get through a year or two that are better than Justin Fields and Tyrod Taylor. So we have to see. But let's get to the Giants. We've run the Jets for a while. I want to talk about the Giants for a few minutes. We've done a lot already, but let's do a little bit more. All right, Jeff. I think it's – huh?
No, there's somebody said hello. What's up?
Hey, guys. How are you? So, Jeff, obviously, no brainer. And I want to applaud the Giants, and I'll tell you why. The minute Harbaugh was on the market, we reached out. Chris Mara flew out to his house or drove down or whatever, had lunch with him, visited with him. They got him. They got the first interview with him. And when they got him in the building, they said, we ain't letting him leave. They sent the private jets. They did all the whole thing. They gave him the money that he wanted. And I applaud the Giants for going all in. Now, had they gone all in and he left the building and signed somewhere else, there would have been egg on the face. But I'm going to give the Giants a lot of credit here. They knew the guy they wanted, Jeff, and they let out all the stops to go get him.
Well, listen, if you want to give them credit for that, I see that. I can understand your point. You're right. They went out. They identified who they wanted. Yep. He was getting phone calls from everybody else in the league.
Sure.
Not for nothing, be honest, the way it played out, do you really think it was the Giants getting the man that they wanted? Or maybe that this was like, this could work. The mutual interest, they each wanted to play.
Oh, I think for sure. I think he went in there thinking, I want the Giants job if everything's right. Because there's no way in the world he didn't go talk to any. I mean, they're family friends with Stephen Ross, the owner of the Miami Dolphins, a state that's got no income tax. His wife loves Nashville. He could have went to Tennessee, wrote his own check. So yeah, I think he went in there. I want the Giants job, and the Giants did everything they needed to do to get him the job. I agree with you. I think it was mutual.
Yeah, I mean, it just happened too quick. When you have that many teams looking into you, you could have had a bidding war. If it was about money, then maybe he's getting offers from Tennessee for $25 million a year. You don't know.
No idea.
And the income tax is a big thing in Miami and everything else. Yeah, but this to me feels an awful lot like, we got to make this happen. Let's get this done.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. I think he went there wanting the job, and they just had to not lose it. I think you're 100% right. I mean, he had an interview set up, I think, for today or tomorrow with the Tennessee Titans, and he canceled it. Last night.
This, even if your wife loves Tennessee, you're the coach, and your wife loves Tennessee, the lovely Mrs. Florio that she is. Would you turn around and tell her, say, listen, we're not going to Tennessee, sweetie. Under no circumstances am I going to Tennessee because I don't want to work there. That team is bad.
No, I think
the Giants were a better team than the fucking.
Oh Giants. No, I think when we talked about this last week, and I said I think the Giant job is best because they look like they have their quarterback. They have the cornerstone left tackle. They have at least two guys on defense who can play and rush the quarterback. They have a great organization. It's great ownership. Okay, I think there were enough pieces there. They got 50 or 60 million in the salary cap. Dexter Lawrence, there's a good enough. I think that if you went piece by piece, the Giants was the premier job over the Steelers because the Steelers roster sucks.
I don't think the Steelers would have called Harbaugh in for an interview, to be honest with you.
You know what? Probably not. But even if that job was
not for nothing, they just got rid of Harbaugh.
No, you're 100% right. I agree with you.
They were like mirror images. Each one there for 18, 19 years. Each one got to the Super Bowl at least once. Each one had a semi-successful team.
Absolutely, 100%. But I'm just saying is when you piece all the jobs. Yeah, when you piece all the jobs together, and what I'm saying is I'm not surprised that he took the Giant job because if you really, really think about it, the Raiders are a train wreck. The Cardinals are a super train wreck.
Agreed.
Right. Okay. The Browns, it's the quagmire of all quagmires. I mean, they're paid, I don't know, I think it's $80 million this year just in quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson and the whole line.
I think I can't remember the number. I think it was 5. I think they're paying
Five quarters, yeah,
salaries.
yeah. And the
This-
Raiders are paying $50 million, paid $50 million in coaches' salaries this year with Gruden, Antonio Pierce, Pete Carroll. I mean, it was like a laundry list. So to me, those are all-time franchises, the Browns, the Raiders, but their rosters and their current situations are terrible. The only one that made any sense for him, maybe Tennessee. They may have their quarterback. Who knows? It's a tax-free state. His wife loved it. The Dolphins, because there's a family history. The owner of the Dolphins and the Harbaughs are very close. But another roster, Jeff, I would think is a terrible roster. You're stuck with Tua, right? Your salary cap is shot. You're going to be years before you turn that around. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, and to me, I'm sorry, but your main attraction on the Dolphins, Tua, he's injury prone. Tyreek Hill's getting older. He fucked up his leg. Plus, he's just a thug waiting for the right crime to fit him.
Yeah.
Like one day you're going to see he's going to have a major problem. He ain't going to spend the rest of his life outside of prison. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
He's been an issue down in fucking Miami since day one.
Yeah. Right now, the only reason you take the Miami job is A, the weather, B, no income tax, and C, it is one of those elite franchises. But right now, if you go through, obviously he's not taking the Ravens job. He just got fired. So I eliminate that one. But of all the other jobs, maybe the only other team that can compete with the Giants as far as roster and this and that is the Falcons. And it's still Atlanta. It's the Falcons. I mean, so to me,
the Falcons though this year.
Huh?
A lot of people are high on the Falcons. Were they win 5 in a row?
Yeah, I mean, again, they're in a shitty division. They think they got their quarterback. They've got a great running back, one of the best in the league. They got a great receiver. They've got some pieces. They got salary cap, but it's still there. So if you're John Harbaugh and you're as bright as football guy as I think he is, you sit down. And if you sit down and you go through the rosters and the teams and the divisions, I gotta tell you, it's a no-brainer to me. The Giants was the best job out there, and I think he went there, like you said, Jeff, with the intention of I want this job, and unless these people are a train wreck, I'm not. And they give me what I want, I'm not leaving there without the job. Because really, do you want to go and rebuild the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland? Do you want to go to the Raiders? Do you want to go to Arizona?
Honestly, if it was up to me,
yeah,
I would rather go to Atlanta than Las Vegas.
Oh, I agree.
I would rather go to Cleveland than Las Vegas.
Las Vegas scares me because of where you are, because of the nightlife and the temptations and the distractions, on top of the bad team and all that stuff. I think that hurts that place too.
I think. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
No problem.
I think that as far as the Raiders go,
yeah,
and the town that they're in and everything else, they're nothing more than a tourist attraction. They're not going to have a complete fan base. I don't think that area has enough people there for people to travel to go watch their games unless they're traveling on vacation. That's one thing. And second of all, the heat that's involved with Las Vegas, that has a lot to do with shit. And they just been awful for decades, man.
Yes.
God, they've been bad.
Yeah, no. Listen, I agree with you. So I think that he would like I don't think he wanted a bidding war. I think he knew his price. I think he said, I'm gonna coach somewhere for $20 million this year. That's it. I think it was, you want me to come for an interview? Let you know I'm looking for 5 years, $20 million a year. And I would guess every team would have said the same thing. Sure, come in and talk. And again, when you look through the whole thing, I think the Giant job was the best one. Tom, you keep saying the Giants roster didn't have any one of the worst. No, they did not have one of the worst rosters in the league. And what I say is this, Frank, I'm not telling you it's the best roster. All I'm telling you is you got salary cap, you got a great pick at number 5, and you got what you believe is your franchise quarterback, your franchise left tackle, 2 quality, if not franchise defensive ends. One had 18 sacks or 17 sacks. The other guy came on strong as your number 1 pick. You got your franchise wide receiver. Now, Jeff's got some points about Malik Neighbors and staying healthy. You got your running backs with Cam Scatterboo and Tyrone Tracy. Tracy had a great year. Scadaboo, if he stays healthy, is going to be in the mix. So the Giant roster, while not perfect and ready and may not be top 15 right now, there's enough pieces there right now where it's a better roster than the ones that are out there. You're telling me the Giant roster is worse than the Raiders, the Browns, the Cardinals, the Bucks, the Dolphins? No. I'm just saying is with the teams that they're compared to, the Giants have the best roster, I think, of the teams that are looking for a head coach right now. That's my point. I don't know if everybody agrees with that, but that's what I mean.
It's hard to say. Scadaboo got injured. Neighbors got injured. Let's see if these guys come back next year and stay healthy. Neighbors has a lot to prove. If he goes down again a couple times here and there, misses a game or two with injuries next year, you may see maybe they even trade him. Who the fuck knows?
Sure. But again, I think if that's the only reason why I think it's not shocking to me that he walked in and got his contract and left. Now, it's a lot of work. You got to fix the roster. You got to fix the culture around here. Too many guys playing, not playing hard enough or injured. You can't lose 5 games with fourth quarter leads. If you win half of those games, you win 3 of those 5 or 2 of those, you're in the playoff hunt. And unfortunately,
yeah.
So again, I think it's a great hire. It obviously gives them
definitely a better hire than their last couple coaches.
Yeah, it gives them credibility in the free agent market. It gives them a culture change that they need desperately right now. And again, I just think you're getting a guy who's the adult in the room, and let's see where it shakes out. This is a good football. This is good. This should be a good football team. Now I'll ask you a question I heard on FAN today, and this is an interesting question. Who is the best quarterback in the NFC right now?
Best quarterback
in the NFC East. Sorry, I'm going to narrow it down. NFC East. You got Dak, you got Hurts, you got Dart, and you got Jalen Daniels.
Well,
it's a tough question. It's not an easy question to answer.
No, but you could make a point for almost everybody except for Dart because it's his first year. So I wouldn't say that Dart was the one that is the best in the league. Dak has been at it. He's a veteran. He has solid seasons. He just sucks in playoff time. Jaden Daniels just went to the NFC Championship game last year. And then you got Hurts that's won a Super Bowl. And he's been what? He went to 2 Super Bowls or 1 Super Bowl?
He went to 2, 1-1. 1-2, went to 2, 1-1.
All right, so then right now he's the only one in that division that has a Super Bowl win.
But again, I don't always want to put it on Super Bowl wins because to me, I watched Dan Marino's the best quarterback I ever watched. He didn't win a Super Bowl, so I'm just saying talent-wise, I would
guys that actually have it. You got to bring it up.
I would say Dak to me is probably the most talented currently. I think the other 2 guys in Dart and Jalen Daniels probably have better upsides. I've never been a big fan of Jalen Hurts. He wins, so don't. I'm not going to knock the guy. The guy wins football games, so he has to go probably to the head of the list for the reason you said. Because he won a Super Bowl, he probably gets the nod. Nobody else has got a big enough resume to beat him out. But it's an interesting conversation. It also should be a very good division next year if Daniels rebounds, they get a new OC. That should be a pretty good division to watch next year.
You agree?
So we're looking forward to that. Dak, again, I would tell you if I had to pick the best quarterback based on mechanics and things that he does well, Dak's probably the guy. Hurts wins more games, wins obviously bigger games, but I like the upside of Dart and Daniels much better. But if I had to pick, I'd have to go Hurts because he's won. He's been to 2 Super Bowls, and nobody else has been near one at this point. So
no,
and I agree. Scadaboo, and Jeff says it all the time. I love Scadaboo. I love the way he plays. I wouldn't change it. I know it's dangerous. I have a bigger problem with the backflips and all that stupid stuff, banging his head into things. To me, you get hurt on the field, that's part of the game. You're tearing Achilles doing a backflip after a freaking touchdown. You want to put a bullet in the kid's head. Oh. Right? I mean,
like I told you, from the first time he did it, I would have been like, I hope you got it out of your system because that's the last one you're ever doing. You'll be 4th string.
And I hope that's the thing. I'm hoping that guy like John Harbaugh comes in and says, guys, act like you did it before. I would show them videotapes, to be honest, of guys like Bavaro, Tim Tebow, guys who you scored a touchdown, you flip the ball to the referee, you can kneel, make the sign of the cross, do something, but you don't have to do backflips. Act like you've been there, like you've done it before. That always annoyed me, but it is what it is. But yeah, I think it gets to a point where you have to, the WWE thing, I get it. There wasn't any chance of him getting hurt, but what if he did? You just had surgery, major surgery to put your ankle back together, and you're getting into a scrum at the WWE. That makes no sense to me, Jeff.
Yeah. No, I said all of this, what you're saying, I agree. I would have, at that point in time, I think I would have suspended him from everything when he was on WWE. It's like, at the very least, I would have called him while he was there.
I'm only hoping somebody did, but who knows? I do also want to go just finish with the coaches thing. I think now that Harbaugh was the piece, I would tell you that most teams probably wanted to meet with him and talk with him and try to get him to come over. And I think that now that Harbaugh signed with the Giants, I think you'll see a bunch of coaches start to sign now, because I think teams, now the pecking order has changed a little bit, and Stefanski will get a job and McCarthy might get a job, and you'll start to see these other guys, all these guys like Chris Schuler and the Packers defensive coordinator, and some of these guys will start to roll off the thing now. I think the first domino had to fall, Jeff.
Oh, without a doubt. I agree with you. But, listen, there's reasons to believe that, they're heading in the right direction now.
Yeah.
With a guy like Harbaugh. And he will draw people by name alone. But, when you look at it, though, it's just, he hasn't done anything since he was in the Super Bowl. And, I can't say that it's a mediocre team, because that's a lie. Right. Mediocre teams don't just go to the playoffs year after year after year. And, but I mean, now some of the alliances that these, I forget what I was going to say. Oh, well.
Yeah. Again, I think at this point, the dominoes will fall, and we'll get into next year. Who's, there's going to be a lot of coaches on the hot seat next year. I think, Sirianni and the Phillies on the hot seat next year. For some reason, no matter what that guy does, how many games he wins, he's just not well liked over there for whatever reason. I don't know about the team itself, but the fans and Philly fans are the worst anyway. But still, I also think Dan Campbell's going to be on the hot seat, Jeff, next year. Having suddenly gone backwards, and I think there's a lot to be said for a guy like that being on the hot seat. I got to tell you, not that I think he'll get fired, but it would not shock me if the Chiefs have another bad season next year, that Andy Reid isn't asked to move upstairs.
You think so, Tom?
Yeah, I do.
How do you get a guy like Andy Reid, who's gone to the Super Bowl how many times in the last 5 or 6 years, and just tell him, we need you to go upstairs?
Yeah, again, it's happened to Coughlin. It's happened to a lot of guys. And 2 years ago they got crushed in the Super Bowl. They danced their way into the Super Bowl. You dance your way to the Super Bowl, you still want the Super Bowl, but they weren't great. They had a big run at the end of the season. This year they were terrible, and I'm not blaming him. A lot of injuries, guys getting older, but the NFL is unforgiving. And to be honest with you, I think if they miss the playoffs again next year, if they have a subpar season, again, I don't think he gets fired, but I think they go to him and say, if you're not going to retire, we want you to move upstairs and become president of football operations, and we're going to hire a coach and try to get the end of Mahomes' career rejuvenated. You guys he's about to turn into the second half of his career. To me, I'm not telling you that I would do it. I think Andy Reid's a good coach, but you're not going to get too many. I mean, look, Tomlin and Harbaugh, the guys just don't lose. They've been to playoffs all the time, and they got fired.
Yes, but in the NFL, there's things that happen, and something. Maybe they just thought it was time for to move on. You're talking about two guys that were there almost 20 seasons. 20 seasons. That's a long time.
I agree. Listen, I agree. I think your analogy is correct, and all of that. I'm just saying is Andy Reid is 60-something years old, getting near 70. if they make the playoffs, Jeff, and they're a different team, this goes out the window, and I'll apologize for saying it, but if they come back next year and they're not better and they don't make the playoffs, I would tell you either he retire or I believe they ask him to move upstairs, and that that's just an opinion of mine. But yeah, I think the hot seat is already turned on for some guys, and some of those guys are, to me, like I said, Sirianni in Philly. I think even the guy I think is Quinn over in Washington. He can't have another bad year. You can't have the Atlanta years, one good year for the Redskins, and then have the year he had this year, and then have it again next year. He'll be on the hot seat. There's a few guys, like the guy in Arizona. There's a bunch of guys. Not the guy in Arizona. They just got fired. Trying to think of the other guy. There's a bunch of guys right now that I think could be on a hot seat, but that's next year. The coach will start to fall. I heard that Chris Shula, who was Don Shula's grandson, is in the running for the Dolphin job. And Jeff, I just want to say, I think that's the worst thing that could ever happen to that kid. If he took the Dolphin job, unless he goes out and wins a couple Super Bowls right away, the legacy is too much. He'd take any other job. Do not take the Dolphin job. Would you agree? If you were Chris Shula, would you take the Dolphin job?
There's nothing really appealing there. And like I said earlier, you got a quarterback situation, your salary cap situation you brought up. You got the receivers situation.
Yep.
There's a lot going on. Would it be a spot that I would want to go to? No, definitely not.
No, but even with all of that, I'm just saying, being Don Shula's grandson and going to coach the Dolphins is a lot of pressure, and you could almost never live up to that, that legacy. So to me, take any other job. If I was him, I would stay away from the Dolphin job. That one's a killer. But I just wanted to bring it up. I heard he was in the running for that one. Okay, so I just wanted to bring this up. Bob Weir, the one of the founding members of the Grateful Dead, passed away this week. This week, I'm sure he'll make your list next year, Jeff. I heard Dable's in the hunt, is in the big hunt for that for the Raider job.
Yes,
I heard Brady absolutely loves him. He's
Brady, he wasn't in a division while Dable was coaching in Buffalo, right?
No, but he was on the staff with Belichick when Brady played.
Oh, okay.
He was an offensive assistant, I believe, on that team. So from what I've heard in a few places that they've talked, that he's definitely in the running for that job. Doesn't mean he's going to get it, but he's definitely in that. And I want to give credit to Brian Dable. Brian Dable called up John Harbaugh and said, if you have the opportunity to coach for the Giants, you should. It's a great organization, a great people. The building's great. So I want to, not many people would do something like that, but Brian Dable actually picked up the phone, called John Harbaugh, and told him, if I were you, I would take the Giants job. So,
yeah, but isn't he still getting paid by the Giants?
I'm sure there's a few dollars left, but he's getting that money either way. It's not like, well, we'll pay you to stay around. He's owed that money. So that's not why that's not why he had to do it. Good for him for doing it, though.
Tom, keep it going. I got to take a quick squirt.
Sure, go ahead. So anyway, we got a lot to talk about. Thanks for tuning in. Jeff and Tom here on Thursday nights. We're here every Thursday, or most every Thursday. And we'll probably be right up to the end of the football season. After that, it might take a little break. I'm not sure, but we'll be around. And with this coaching hire, the Giants, it's reinvigorated. I'm actually hoping that I can do a season where the Giants wind up in the Super Bowl. Again, it's a long shot, folks. I get it. But at the very least, I'm hoping that I can be on the air with Jeff talking about a great football season for the Giants and a possible playoff spot. And that would make my day. So I've had one or two along the way. 17, they had a decent season, and then 22, they had the great run through the season, great victory in Minnesota. And then, of course, they got beat by the Eagles in the division round. But I'll say is, for me, this is a great move for the New York Giants. Now we've got a lot of building to do, and I am actually glad they kept Joe Schoen. I know there's a lot of guys out there that didn't like it, but I'm a Joe Schoen fan. I think he's done a good job with the roster. A little baseball news. I don't know if the Mets actually signed Tucker. I know there's a lot of stuff out there about them signing him. It's a good move. It probably pushes Cody Bellinger to sign with the Yankees, so I'm all for it. The Jets go to the Super Bowl. Jeff knows how you know. Yeah, I would tell you. I honestly, I don't know what the Jets need. It's some people say it's the owners. I don't know the answer to that. I really don't. They need to get the right football guy in there. I don't know who that would be at this point in time, but they need to get the right guy in there and just let him run the show. To me, if I were the Jets, I would do what the Giants did with Harbaugh to Tomlin. And I would go there and tell me whatever you want, whoever you want. If I got to fire everybody and start from scratch, if I were the Jets, I would go get Tomlin because it's a culture change. It's a rebuild. It's an adult in the room. I would fire everybody from the GM down to the coach to the people who cook the food. So Tucker's going to the Jays. Yeah, So to me, I hear you. It's very frustrating. I've been through periods of that. I'll say with the Giants, I've been lucky. I've gotten to watch 4 Super Bowls, and I got a feeling my grandson will get to watch some future playoff games at least in the next few years with me. So that I'm looking for. The Jets tried to do that years ago when they got Parcells, and they did, and it was successful. The problem was Parcells needed to stay there, and he decided that he wanted to move on to others. And he tried it with the Dolphins. He tried. Parcells was a great culture builder, and if he could have left behind a piece of him to run the organization the way he did, most of those teams would have carried on. But most of those teams fell off the face of the earth once he left. Parcells was one of those guys who was great for a short period of time, and he wore thin on everybody, including himself, and that's why that failed. But, they need a Parcells type, and I think Tomlin's that guy. So if I were the Jets, if you're asking me, I would fly Tomlin in right now and say, if you want the job, $20 million a year, I'll give you 5 years, and you coach the Jets, and you take the fallout. But I if it was me, I would go all in on Mike Tomlin, because if he takes another job, who's going to be the coach next year? Of all those coaches that we talked about might get fired and the ones that are around right now, who's the guy you'd say, I want to coach the Jets? I know he's a no-doubt guy. And I would even take Mike McCarthy, to be honest with you. I don't know if I'd fire Glenn for him. But if Mike McCarthy was around, I would take Mike McCarthy. He's done enough things in his career. But Tomlin, if I were the Jets, I'd be on the phone to him right now. You want the Jet job? It's your job.
Yeah, he don't want the Jets. He don't want the Jets.
I'm not saying he does. I'm just saying if it was me, I would say, sorry, Aaron. If Mike Tomlin's available and he's willing to come here, I'm giving him $25 million. I'm opening the checkbook. You do whatever you want and just change. At the very least, Jeff, it's a change the culture moment. You're changing the culture.
Yes, but you want to know something? Is that good or bad? Because there's going to be people that are for Aaron Glenn and what his plan is, whatever that may be. That doesn't seem to really be unfolding the way he planned. And
do you think there's any Jet fan that would say, "Oh my God, I can't believe you fired Aaron Glenn and brought in Mike Tomlin"? I don't think that's. I think that they're out there. I think there's one out there. Yeah, maybe you're right.
In today's day and age and demographic, there is definitely one out there.
Well, listen, I see the protests on TV, so you're not wrong. So all I'll say is this: I don't think the majority of Jet fans around the world would be crying in their sleep or crying in their soup that Aaron Glenn got fired and Mike Tomlin got the job. So if I were the Jets and he's available, now he may want to take a year off. I don't know. Maybe that works out better for the Jets. They get another crappy year with Aaron Glenn. They fire him. They bring Mike Tomlin the next year. But I would, if I was Woody, I'd be on the phone. I'd have somebody at Tomlin's house tomorrow morning with bagels and lox and mimosas. And Mike, are you interested in coaching?
Yeah, you have to. I think that you have to. You got to. Yeah, in this business, it has to be due diligence. It has.
I agree with you. I agree. And again, I know it's not right because you have a coach who's not fired. But to me, I would somehow open the door and just say, "Oh, are you interested? If you're interested, and then at that point, this is the time to do it. And if I were the Jets, I would do it." So,
Listen,
let's
you got to take a page out of fucking George Steinbrenner's book.
Yeah.
When he hired Billy Martin to come back as manager 2 years after everything that happened, and Bob Lemon won one or two World Series.
Won a World Series,
One
yeah.
World Series, and he was still getting canned.
Well, I'll tell you. How about this? So Billy shows up at after getting fired that year. So it's 78. Billy gets fired. Lemon takes over, turns the team around. They get to Old Timers Day, and Billy shows up at Old Timers Day, and they announce it at the game that Billy's coming back next year to coach to manage the team, and him and Lemon are shaking hands. So George Steinbrenner was ruthless. He said, I want Billy. I don't care that Lemon's my manager now. I'm going to hire him to be my manager next year, and that's it. And if I would have
done the same thing with Aaron Glenn.
Absolutely.
Just said later, Aaron, you know what? You got 3 wins.
Hey, Frankie, if I were the Jets and I had to give up 2 draft picks to get Mike Tomlin, I would do it.
Well, you wait a minute now. Hold up there. You know what? You got to think about what it is. You're not going to make that decision and say, well, we'll give you a 5th and a 6th round draft pick. You got 5 first rounders. You may have to give up 2 of those 5 first rounders.
I wouldn't give up 2. I would give up 1. I couldn't give up 2. You can't. Now you want to say I'll give you up by 2028, 2029. I would say that's fine. But the picks you got right now, you got to hold on to as many of them as you can. Otherwise, you got to. So, and I would think, if you're the Jets and the Steelers, you work something out. I mean, you're not going to have him anyway. You get something for him. If he takes a year off, you're going to get nothing for him. So I would think a 1 and a 5, something crazy. But if I were the Jets, at the very least, I would call up the Steelers and say, can I talk to Mike about coaching my team next year? Get permission, and then talk to Mike and say, are you interested? And if he was anywhere interested, no offense to Aaron Glenn, you ain't Mike Tomlin. That's all I'll say. Broncos did it for me. Yeah, I mean, I think that's and to me, if you get the guy who's life altering, team altering, culture altering, that's the guy you have to do. You have to go. You have to go get the John Harbaughs or you have to look to mine because they've done it and it's there. You don't know what the next offensive defensive assistant's going to do for you. So, and to me, those are the guys. So let's get on to the playoffs this weekend. We passed. I want to talk a little about the last week's playoffs, this week's playoffs. Oh, I mentioned Bob Weir from Jeff's gone. So, all right, let's talk a little NFL playoffs from last weekend. Jeff, I know didn't watch it. I'll start with the Steeler game because it was probably not the best game in the world. I came out of this the one thing, Frankie. The one team that scares the crap out of me is the Texans. Their defense in your conference might be the best, and that is a Super Bowl winning defense. With those 2 defensive linemen, that secondary, Will Anderson's just a monster. I would tell you they scare the crap out of me if I were a Bronco fan. Let's get you back up there.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. So we're just talking about the last weekend's game. So I started with the Steeler-Texan game, and I went to bed. It was 7-6 Texans. I woke up middle of the night, and it's 30-6. And what I watched in the first half was a Texans defense, Jeff, that I think is good enough to win the Super Bowl. As bad, and not as bad, as ordinary or not good as C.J. Stroud and the offense was, I would tell you that defense is a Super Bowl caliber defense. It was, and I know that the Steelers offense with Aaron Rodgers and all that was antiquated, old. They looked terrible, but that defense is suffocating.
Well, listen, you're in the playoffs now, okay? One bad quarter, and you're no longer in the playoffs. So, while they have a good game, it's week to week now. You don't know.
No. Again, no problem. I'm just saying what I watched, I would tell you that.
They have a good defense, but you just don't know.
Yeah, that Texans-Patriots game is going to be a really good game. I'm looking forward to that Sunday 3:00 at Foxborough. That is going to be a test. I think the defenses, while the Texans are better than the Patriots, it's not that far off. But I think the Patriot offense is much better than the Texans offense. I'm still picking the Patriots to win this game, but it would not shock me. So, and yes, Frank, I know Denver's got a great defense. I'm not telling you it's not. It is super. But I watched enough for the Broncos this year. I think the Texans are the best defense left in this thing. Now, I don't know if they're good enough offensively to get past everybody. So that's a big problem for them. But their defense is Super Bowl caliber. But Jeff, so that the Steeler game, you could see it was the end of Tomlin. You could see, I think it's pretty sure it's the end of Aaron Rodgers as a player. I mean that game was just almost the end of the Steeler franchise as you see it today. Which now with a new coach, probably new quarterback, you're going to see a turnover on that roster. But a bad job by the Steelers again, getting the playoffs and getting knocked out right away.
I don't hear anybody either connected to the Steelers even going in for an interview as of yet. Have you?
No. I know everybody's been interviewing players, but again, I think most teams, and I don't think it's the Steelers. I think most coaches and teams were waiting for Harbaugh to take the job, and now you'll see. Now, do I think Stefanski gets that job? I don't. I think it'll be the next assistant. I've heard some rumors that they may make a play for the Notre Dame head coach, who's got a little bit of legal problems, but they don't seem to be true.
You think they're going to go after that? You know,
it would not shock me in the slightest. The Steelers like to go after that young assistant, regimented coach. He's done a nice job up in Notre Dame, so it would not shock me that that's the guy they go get. I don't see Stefanski going from the Browns to the Steelers. I don't see McCarthy going there. Doesn't seem that type of hire. They're not going to draft get an older coach. So I think they want a head coach. And listen, if there's one team that deserves leeway, it's the Steelers. They've had 3. They chose 3 guys in their history, and all 3 have won Super Bowls, and all 3 have been ultra successful.
Yeah.
So, and coaches now won't interview the ones that are in the playoffs can't this week. So yes, but that doesn't mean they haven't interviewed already and the jobs haven't been decided, or some of the guys who are off free can take jobs. So we'll see how it plays out right now. Again, we're going to go over quickly over last week's games. We'll talk about this week's games in a minute. Bills beat the Jags. I'll give credit. I don't know if you watched any of this game, but I got to tell you, Josh Allen is Superman. The guy, he hit his hand. He got knocked around. He is the toughest quarterback I think I've ever watched, and he just wills that team to win. And again, Trevor Lawrence, when the games are on the line, he comes up with the worst plays. He made passes you just shake your head at. It was a good football game. Bills come out on top, Jeff, but it's the tale of 2 quarterbacks. Trevor Lawrence implodes when he has to, and Josh Allen at this phase really just takes the team on his back. He by far is, to me, the best quarterback in football right now.
He's a great quarterback, man, and I'm hoping that he has a career game and sets all kind of records this weekend when he plays. Oh, who's he playing?
Maybe. Oh yeah, the Broncos.
Oh shit, the Broncos. Yeah, I'm hoping that like when he comes out, they name plays after him. I hope they write songs after him.
Now, I'm not rooting against the Broncos, Frankie Catalano. I'm telling you flat out, I am not rooting against the Broncos. But I am rooting for Josh Allen because I think he deserves an opportunity to play in the Super Bowl. I think the guy's played his ass off. He does the right thing. He shows up every week. He plays hard. He plays hurt. So I'm not rooting against the Broncos. If the Broncos win, I will root for them probably along the way. But I will tell you that I would love to see Josh Allen with an opportunity to play in the Super Bowl. And it would not – I got to tell you, if all the teams left, it would not hurt me if they win it. I got to be honest with you. I think he deserves it. I think that fan base deserves it. It would be fun. Now, again, it will not bother me if your Broncos does. I'm just saying, I can't tell you that I'm rooting for the Broncos. I'm not rooting against them. So if your team wins, I'll be the first one to congratulate you.
I can tell you exactly what you're afraid to say.
What's that?
1, I hope the Bills win.
2,
I hope the Bills win by an astronomical amount of points.
3,
I hope Denver loses. 4, I hope Bo Nix decides to join the fucking the Peace Corps or something after this game. He gets beat so bad. There's a lot of things that go on. I want to see Denver just like fall off a cliff, and that's it, man.
Well, Saturday at 4:30, will you sit down and actually watch this game and actively? Will you sit down Saturday night and watch this game?
I may even tell Frank Catalano, here's my phone number. Give me yours to see if I can text you during the game and be like, fuck you, Frank. They're out. That's what I want.
All right. So here's somebody again. So Bears beat the Packers. Here's a game that was badly coached by both coaches. I don't know if you watched any of this game, Jeff. It was on. I think this was the prime game on Saturday night.
Yeah, there was one game I was watching. I forget which one it was. There was a couple games. They kept going back and forth, scoring points and change. The lead kept changing. I think it was the Rams game.
It might have been a Rams game. So the Bears-Packers game, the Packers get out to a 21-3 lead. And here's where I just hate the way NFL games are coached. So the Bears are losing 14-3. It's early or middle part of the second quarter. You're losing 14-3. You've got 4th and 4 from your own 28-yard line. Your own 28. You're down already 11 points, but it's early, right? What do you do, Jeff? You're the coach of the Bears. You're 4th and 4 on your own 28-yard line. Let's call it middle of the second quarter. What do?
You got to punt. You have to punt.
They go for it. Don't come close to getting it, and the Packers immediately score and take a 21-3 lead.
Well, while it might not have been the smartest move, we see how that ended up at the end of the game.
All right, so but you
don't know that in the first half.
Correct. You at that moment you don't know. At that point, if you were to watch the game and saw the fans, I was shocked they didn't leave at that point. So now the Packers decide at halftime that they're going to leave the footballs in the locker room and not try to score points after that, because they're going to come out and run the ball up the middle every time on first down. And then they're going to miss 2 field goals and an extra point and play about as bad as you can play defensively in the second half. And the Bears turn around and they win the game on a late touchdown. And all props to the Bears. Caleb Williams played a really good second half of the game. But even in the first half, he was throwing picks. But both coaches coached this game like they never coached a football game before in my life. And yes, the Bears coach is a huge dick. But he's got every right to bark. He won, and he's been kicking the crap out of his own division. No problem. I don't like the guy. I don't root for the guy. But I've never seen coaching in the NFL the last couple of years like I see now with guys. It's like it's like, Jeff, unless you're on your own 10-yard line or further back, everybody's going to go for it. I mean, guys are getting to the 40-yard, their own 40, and they're going, maybe I should go for it. I'm like, whatever happened to punting? The punter is going to go by the way of the dodo bird and the fullback soon. You're going to be non-existent.
Well, you know what? There's always, but other than the dodo bird and the fullback, there's always going to be a need for a punter. You just have to have it.
Jeff, you know what's going to happen? Remember when we were kids and you played street ball and you got the 4th down and you weren't going to go for it? You had to announce, I'm not going for it.
You threw it.
That's what's going to happen. The quarterback's going to go back there and going to throw the ball up in the air, and somebody's going to, because nobody's going to punt. Pretty soon, nobody is going to punt. They're going to go for it on 4th down, no matter what. Or they're going to kick 80-yard field goals, because these guys are kicking 60s and 70-yard field goals now.
So, I know. It's unbelievable what they're doing, man.
Yeah.
You think a 70, if anybody, what's the record? 69 yards?
I think the kid from, I don't know, is it Denver? No, one of the kids, Little, I think it is. So he's getting, I think it's 67 is the one.
Man,
I think it's 60. But damn, these aren't like, okay,
that's kicking the ball over 200 feet.
Yeah. I think about this. It's not even like this. These are out of the ordinary. I mean, they're regularly now kicking 60-yard field goals. I mean, you're going over like before you'd be like, well, we got no choice. We got to take a try at it. We got to try at 63-yard. We have no choice. We're never gonna score it any other way. Now it's like, well, we're playing for a 66-yard field goal. I'm like, what is this 74, Frankie? The Jags. That's the kicker. The guy from the Jags. The guy's got a tremendous slave. Yeah, but he missed a big field goal, 55 yard, and then it's a chip shot, 55 yards. It's like holy shit. But
Pretty sick.
Now this week, the Bears face the Rams this week. We'll talk a little bit about that. Let's see what other games I want to talk about. Eagles lose to the Niners. I got to tell you, if there's one guy in this league that I just think is probably one of the worst human beings as a player, it's got to be A.J. Brown. He talks crap all day long. He gives his quarterback a hard time, the coach a hard time. Give me the ball. Jeff, he dropped at least 3 passes, big passes in the game that cost his team a football game. But it was one of the worst coached offensive games I've watched from the Eagles. They're unimaginative. I don't know if they fired their offensive coordinator yet, but he should get fired. And it's putting their coach on the hot.
But didn't A.J. Brown have a big blow up with the coach on the sideline?
Yeah, the coach. And again, so the team is already kind of fractured. There's a lot of stuff going on. You're losing. And A.J. Brown must have said or did something. And the coach, instead of waiting, grabbing him on the side, the coach goes sprinting down the sideline and gets in his face. I mean, it's like the worst coaching move in the world. And I'm not saying it cost them the game. Don't get me wrong. They just didn't play well enough. But he's a bad coach. Now, he's done enough to winning games and Super Bowls that, he deserves to keep his job. So don't get me wrong. But he's a bad coach who just had a really good team. But if he's another guy, he don't rebound next year, he'll be looking for a new job. But the Niners, I got to tell you, I hate Robert Saleh as a head coach, but boy, oh boy, Jeff, that guy is a defensive coordinator. Holy shit. He is as good as anybody there is. I mean, half that team is hurt, and those guys would run through walls, covered in fire for that guy.
Listen, you say what you want. You say you hate him as a head coach. He was getting 7 wins out of Zach Wilson.
I guess.
You know what I mean? And they've done nothing but regress since he's been gone. Not saying that he would have been the one to lead them, but you know what? He deserves another shot as a head coach someplace. And yeah, you're right. I said to you in text just the other day, I says that if they get past Seattle, they're going to the Super Bowl, I feel. They keep finding ways to win. They lose guys, they keep finding ways to win. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, the Rams are a tough team. The Rams might be the best team. It's like this. The Bears have all that mojo. They're winning games they're not supposed to. They're loose. They're playing well. The Rams are Matthew Stafford's playing maybe the best football of his career, but the 49ers defense may be the best unit out there. And if he gets them to play well in Seattle this week, so that game would be in Los Angeles because where would that game be? If the 49ers and the Rams win, who gets home field?
The Rams.
Why? They're both 12-5. I don't know what their record against each other was, but they're both 12-5.
The Rams were ahead of them in the playoffs.
You're right. Okay, you're right. So to me, that's a tough. That would be a tough game. But let's get to the games first. And then the Rams outlasted the Panthers. Actually, the Panthers had a real good chance to win this game. Bryce Young is not a great quarterback, never going to be, and I don't like the way the Rams played. I think the Rams played down in that game more than they the Rams played up in that game. So
I'm glad the Panthers lost. The last thing we need is the Panthers to have any kind of success in the postseason because somebody else's head would fucking blow thinking just hearing that. And the Panthers win the Super Bowl and forget about it.
Very true. Very true. So it was some good games. I would say other than the Steeler game, all the games were nail biters. Some of them were down to the last second. All good football games. This weekend's games, Jeff, let's get to this week's games before it gets late. We'll run through them real quick. Bills, Broncos in Mile High. The Broncos are obviously the number 1 seed. The Bills a little banged up, especially their quarterback. I can't imagine the Broncos not winning this game. They're at home. They're well rested. I guess they're mostly healthy, and they have probably the better defense, the best unit on the field. I'm picking the Broncos to win, but I'm kind of hoping that Josh Allen finds a way to win the game.
You're talking about another cold weather team coming in to play a cold weather team. I don't know what the weather's going to be up there, but the weather is not going to be a factor in this game unless it's completely bad weather.
No, Josh Allen's played nothing but his whole career, college and otherwise. Wyoming, Buffalo. Yeah, this is not going to scare them for sure.
No, neither one of these teams is going to be scared of it. They're going to be used to it.
Yep.
I think it's going to be a good game, and I'm really hoping that Buffalo, New York team, a New York team from New York State, where you live, where you should be rooting for the teams where you live, and I'm hoping that the Bills get to the Super Bowl.
I live in New Jersey, by the way, so just
that's
for the
okay.
record.
It's close enough to New York.
Yeah,
it's closer than Denver is. Let's put it that way.
I got you. So I think that's going to be a fun game Saturday at 4:30. The Saturday night game, 49ers Seahawks. This should be a very good game, but it has the potential because of how we feel about Sam Darnold and how good Robert Saleh has that defense played. And McCaffrey, that receiving core, Brock Purdy. I like the 49ers in an upset this week on the road in Seattle against them. I don't believe in the Seahawks, and I certainly don't believe in Sam Darnold enough to think he's going to win a big game in the playoffs.
Does San Francisco have anybody else that they could put on the injured reserve at this point?
I don't know yet. Yeah.
Who else is going to go out and play for them?
You know what? It's the truth, but I would tell you that they're not playing like they just believe they're playing. They're very well coached. And I honestly think that the not having the week off will benefit them more than Seattle having the week off. The Niners could have used the week off, maybe get some people healthy. I think them playing as well as they did last week, beating the Eagles on the road. I think they're flying high. I think Seattle with the week off come out a little sluggish. Sam Darnold sees some ghosts in the post, and I like the Niners to sneak out and win this one.
We can only hope. I'm sorry, man. I cannot believe in Sam Darnold. I just cannot.
I'm with you on that. Until he wins the game. If he wins this game and gets to the Super Bowl, I will give him credit and say he's got a shot. But to me, I just don't believe in his talent enough to take his team to the next game, to the NFC Championship game. So to me, he's got to win this game to take the doubt at least off my head. He's going to be a good defense in the playoffs. I'll be impressed.
Well, we're going to find out by Sunday night. We'll find out what's going on.
Okay.
We'll be able to start
now the Sunday games. Two really good games on Sunday. I think potentially these games should be great games. The Texans on the road in Foxborough playing the Patriots 3:00 on Sunday. I love this game because first off, I'm always been a little bit of a Patriot fan going back to the Steve Grogan days. Obviously, my love of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. I think that whole thing just amazes me.
Have you ever released Tom Brady?
No, I have not released to Tom Brady.
No, I didn't say released to Tom Brady. Have you ever released to Tom Brady?
I said I've never released for Tom Brady.
I don't know. I find that one hard to believe.
So this game comes down to Drake May figuring out how to beat the Texans defense. Not impossible. Again, now here's where you love to do this. Cold weather this weekend in Foxborough, really cold. Team that plays in Texas in a dome. This is not going to be an easy game for that team to get used to. I don't care how much you practice in it. I don't care how much you do not play year-round in this. You do not get used to that. I'd like the Patriots to squeak out a win here. I think this is not a great-looking football game. This is one of those games that could end 21-17, 21-10. But I like the Patriots to sneak one out and win this one, Jeff.
Here's what I think. When you got a team like the Broncos and the Patriots, that maybe might be a little bit ahead of themselves to be in the position that they're in. Sooner or later, one of them is going to have a letdown. And I think that it's going to happen for both of those teams before they get to the chance to get to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Meaning that I expect one of those two teams to lose this weekend.
Okay.
I do not expect to be here next week saying that we're going to watch the Broncos and the Patriots in the AFC Championship game. I just don't believe that.
Okay, so you think one of those guys are going home, at least one of them are going home empty-handed. Okay, fair enough.
Yes.
I would agree, I would agree with that. I think it's more likely the Broncos because I think the Bills are I think the Bills are just due to win one of these games once. I just do. But the next game, the night game, Sunday night, 6:30, which I love the fact that it's a 6:30 Sunday night game. Rams and Bears. I'm troubled by this because I don't like the Bears coach, but I hate Sean McVay and the Rams. I just despise the Rams. I'll watch it. I'll probably root for the Bears. The problem for me right now, I'm an AFC guy. I think at this point, I'm rooting for whoever comes out of the AFC. I don't like the 49ers. I don't like the Rams, and I don't like the Bears. And I can't see myself rooting for Sam Darnold at this point. So
I'm not a Bears fan, but I do like. I had what's his face Stafford as my quarterback in the fantasy.
Yeah, 47 touchdowns this year. Boy, he had a great year.
Yeah, he did, and he needs to just stay hot for another couple weeks, and off they go.
No.
And I think they have a chance. I think they have a legit shot.
I was just going to say,
San Francisco, I think, is going to run out of steam. Seattle is just going to run out of Donald magic, and I can't see the Bears. They're going to be playing the Bears, so it's going to be a different situation. I just don't see it working out for them.
Yeah, I think there's a really good chance that the Bears have a little bit of mojo right now. I'm going to pick the Bears in a huge upset. To me, there's a huge upset. The Rams have been the best team for a good part of the season. I know they finished, second in the conference and all that stuff. But the Rams have been on fire, and the Bears shouldn't. Last year they were terrible. They were talking about running Caleb Williams out of the team already, and now the Bears are in the playoffs, and with a chance to go to the NFC championship game in 2 weeks. But I'm going to tell you, I love the way the Rams played last week and the way the Bears played last week. I like the Bears this week, so I'm going Bills, Patriots, Niners, Bears this week. Those are my 4 picks.
I say Niners, Rams. The Patriots, I hope they get bounced out. I mean, I'm not a big Texans fan, and I hope the Bills.
Okay, so
and the Rangers. I'm glad you brought that up, Frank, because I know you're a big Rangers fan.
God, they're terrible.
What is going on? They gave up 10 goals the other day.
Yeah, I turned it on.
8-2 the next game. Are they getting worse?
Drury's got to get fired. Drury's got to go. Yeah, Drury's got to go. The coach got to go. And I got to tell you, most of this roster can go. I got to tell you, you can tell me, the only guy I've watched this year who looks like he's playing in anyway is Lafreniere. The rest of them, you can keep them. Adam Fox has no heart. These guys just don't play. Send them all down and bring up the Wolfpack. So yeah, I've had enough with the Rangers.
You got to do something because I know Frank Catalano. I remember last year watching him and a couple other guys that we know that we're friends with. We always posted, Ranger game. I don't even see anybody talk about the Ranger game.
Why? They're terrible. Why would anybody?
I mean, they don't even, come on, Rangers, maybe you'll win tonight. It's like they just don't seem to fucking care. Nobody.
Jeff, I've never been a big proponent of bringing in your best player. Like I would never tell the Giants to hire Lawrence Taylor to coach their team. I would never, I would tell you if I were the Rangers, I would go out and I would get Mark Messier to coach my team. I think he wants to do it. He's an exceptionally bright hockey mind. I mean, he's an exceptionally bright hockey mind. And the biggest part of it, he's a leader. He instantly walks into that locker room with the ultimate credibility. Here's a guy who's done it on the biggest stages. He's and for that team, not just in Edmonton, he's walked in, won a President's Cup with the Rangers. He walked in and made the guarantee and won a cup. To me, it's time to give him a chance and to bring in somebody who, when they walk in the door, everybody shuts up. That's my opinion.
But here's the thing with him, okay? One, he's getting a little older, Mark Messier. He's got to be in his early 60s by this point.
Absolutely. Easy.
Second, why would he even want to fucking come in and play, coach this team? He was a Stanley Cup champion 30-something years ago at this point in time.
3 or 4 years ago, he wanted the job. He wanted the job. They wouldn't give it to him. I would give it to him.
How long ago did he want the job?
I don't. It's got to be 4 or 5 years ago now.
That's a long time.
I agree with you, but to me, all I said to was I would.
He had Heinrich back then too.
If he wanted the job, all I'm saying is you got Shesterkin. When he's motivated, he's one of the best goalies in the league, no doubt about it. You got a couple pieces on this team still. You can go. But again, I think the biggest problem is nobody plays hard. Nobody goes out there and gives it their all. It's a dead team. I'm bringing in a guy like Messier, and I'm saying, here's my instant credibility. Go there and whip this team. And again, he walks in with the ultimate credibility. I'm just saying, I know he likes TV. I get it. But I think if you offered Messier the chance to coach the New York Rangers, to turn them around, imagine if Messier came in, turned them around, won a cup. I mean, just put the candle on the bow on the career. So to me,
of course, yes, and for a team like the Rangers, yeah, it would be incredible.
Yeah.
But you want to know something? Here's a team that's been in the league for how many fucking years? What do they got? 3 championships?
There's a bunch back in the day. I don't really count any of them.
They don't have as many as you think. They won in 19 because it was 1940.
Yeah,
1929 or something like that, and then
it's probably 3 or 4 tops at most. You're probably right.
How many they got?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I do, Frank. I agree. I'm not disagreeing. I don't think any of them have any heart. But when I watch the games, and I don't watch all the time, so you know way better than me. But when I turn it on, he seems to be the only guy going to the net. He seems to be the only guy playing a little hard. I just despise watching the team. It's got no heart. It just has nothing to it. And I expected more out of this coach and the staff. And I think Adam Fox is one of the most overrated players that I've ever watched as a Ranger. 4. So, So to me, I'm only saying Messier because he brings instant credibility. He brings you're not going to go, what does this guy know? No, he knows. Like, he's done it. And he's a brilliant hockey mind. And I know he likes doing TV, but if I'm telling you, if you called him up and said, Mess, we're going to give you a 3-year deal, come in and fix the Rangers, I almost guarantee you he does it. And I would love to see it. I never wanted it before. I do now because nothing else is working. So let's see what happens. So anyway, this is their 100th year. So, Jeff, they win one every 25 years on an average.
Wow. Well, they're running behind.
Yeah, exactly. So
way behind.
But that pretty much is it. Again, Hard Rocket Sports Band is back in action. First time since 2019. We got an amazing lineup, some great songs, and our first practice is scheduled for February 1st. We'll get more information to everybody. This may be the one and done, so we hope everybody will come out and watch us perform. Very talented band, and Jeff and Jimmy Galicchio and Paul Gill, Drew Neary, Ronnie Mormino, Bob Pecorara, Dorothy Shields, Sten Rude. Top-notch players. So I'm looking forward to it, Jeff. I've been working every night on the songs. I'm sold.
Yeah, we're gonna, once we have the first practice and we see what's going on, me and you will talk and we'll figure out how we're gonna divide this up and what's going on.
Well, I think the guys will. Well, here's my one question. We'll do it on the air. And is it going to be 3 guitar players at once, or are we switching guitar players in and out?
I don't know. I don't know what songs you guys are playing, but right now it could be 3 guitar players. That doesn't bother me.
Yes, Frank
does it. Leonard Skinner does it. Molly Hatchet does it.
No,
why not the Hard Rocket Sports Band?
Yeah, Frank, we're going to play one show in May. We haven't decided on where, and the date is going to be May 23rd.
That's another thing that we have to get that.
Yes.
Quickly. We got to figure out the date very, very quickly.
Well, it is scheduled for May. We have picked May 23rd.
We need a venue to play.
Yeah, Dorothy mentioned Rabs. I don't know much about it, but I would say at that first practice, we need to zero in our place and then go book a show. The answer is Joe. Joe had to back out. Joe couldn't do it. No. Yeah, the answer is Joe could not be available for this one. He's got a lot of other stuff going on. He's got some big personal stuff going on. Nothing bad at all. All good stuff for him. We're going to. I would like to have the 3 guitar players. There may be a song or 2 I don't want to play, where I might just step out to listen and watch. But at the very least, right now, I think the songs between the drummers and the singers will work themselves out between them. The Rock House is a possibility. I think right now anything's a possibility, Jeff, right at this point.
Anything is a possibility, but we will see.
Yep. So we got that coming up. We'll be back next Thursday night when we get to break down the division round, and we set you up for the NFC Championship games, the AFC, the Championship game weekend, following weekend, and we'll be here right through the Super Bowl. Maybe we might even bring back the old trivia contest. I was thinking about doing the Super Bowl trivia contest. I got a few things I can give out as prizes. So I'm thinking about doing a Thursday before the Super Bowl, like we did the last time. We'll have a contest. Jeff will read a whole bunch of trivia. We'll get 4 or 5 contestants, and we'll get a trivia contest going on for that. I think we're going to make that happen this year. But in the meantime, Jeff,
you could even come up with some. I got a good question now.
Yeah.
What NFL team that plays in Colorado had 20 head coaches in his existence?
I'm waiting for the Jeopardy bell, the Jeopardy tune to go dong, ding,
ding dong dong, ding dong dong.
Frankie, I want you to know something, Frankie. He actually loves you, so don't think he doesn't. He actually loves you. He just loves you.
I will admit, right here, right now, Frank Catalano, I do like you. Do I like breaking your balls? Well, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Do I like breaking your balls more when you say something about the Jets? Absolutely. There is none better, because I know, I don't care what you say, I know that you get annoyed. And that's okay, because you're ripping on the Jets. And I can't even say, well, they won the Super Bowl. I can't even say they won 5 games. But I'm going to say something. I'm sticking up for my team. That's all there is to it. But as anything goes, Frank Catalano, there is no hate for you at all whatsoever, man.
That's perfect, because we do this each week together. Frank is an integral part of the show. Yeah, he's our new half man. That's right. He's the new half man. So
he's a 3/4. Well, I can't say 3/4 man, because that's not true. But
that's true.
Let's call him the man.
That's it. So again, thank you to everybody who tuned in and watched us and listened to us and actually commented. We do appreciate it. It's fun to do this and have a little feedback. So thank you to everybody for tuning in and watching. Please enjoy your games this weekend. Be safe. Get a designated driver. Do not drink and drive. There's plenty of things to do at home, and we want you to do it. And we look forward to bringing it back next Thursday night when Jeff and I get together and do it all over again. So, Jeff, you got anything you want to end with?
No, other than I'm looking forward to to getting in practice and hanging out with people. Unfortunately, we have to do this. No gentlemen this time around. This is business, so yes. we need to be and mind our P's and Q's and do what we need to do. So that's going to make it more. And we got a newbie coming in with Dorothy and Bob.
Yeah.
We've practiced with Bob before in the past, but I haven't seen Dorothy. And
I saw her at my son's wedding, but I haven't hung out or talked to Dorothy like that in 30 years. So
yeah, so it's been even longer for me. So you know what? I'm anxious. I'm looking forward to that, saying hello to her, seeing what's going on, and just to have all our old friends together, and this time playing to play out. It's going to be great.
Yeah,
Momino.
Yeah, to actually be out there and actually trying to play the songs the right way and get them down and all of that.
I said, and of course nobody's touched it, nobody said anything, but I'm going to figure out something with you or with Paul or whatever. We need to play one song where we're all on the stage.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. I could not agree with you more. Yeah, and I 155%. The last song of the night, it should be, both singers, the drummer, bass players, guitar players, everybody on stage for the last song of the night. Whatever song that is, it should be something that's simple and easy, and we can make it last forever. And I would absolutely agree with you 150%. We have to come up with a anthem type song for the final song.
Well, listen, I don't know what you're thinking, but I think what's that?
I don't have a song in my head for it, so
I have one.
Okay.
I mean, it's not the most epic song in the world.
What song you got?
Paranoid from Black Sabbath. It's the easiest one that we could do.
Okay.
Am I Evil? That may be a little complicated for some of the players involved.
Okay.
And me and Paul, I have video with me and Paul actually in the studio. We played it with Joey at the same time.
Okay.
In the studio a few years back when we did the upstairs room. It's just an idea,
No, listen, I don't care what song it is. I would, but I would totally agree. We should play one song at the end where everybody is involved. each singer gets a set, gets a different verse and the choruses and, 100%. So yeah, we'll have to work on that, but let's get in the studio. We need a game plan. So make sure, we have a game plan for how we practice in and what songs and, how we're breaking it down. We go through the easy ones first and knock them out and then get on to the harder ones and pick the ones we have to concentrate on. So
like I said, we'll discuss that, and present a package to the rest of the band and we'll figure out how we're going to do that.
Sure.
The biggest problem that I foresee is that we're going to have to figure out what we're going to do about with me and Paul. If we could play both of us at the same time, one of us is going to have to go through the PA or something.
I was just going to say, could one of you guys go through the PA on the last song?
That's something that would work, but that's if Gary could help us out with that, or we have a sound guy that'll be willing to help us out.
Yep, we're gonna work. I'm gonna work on all of that stuff. Lights and with video. Believe me, I'm gonna have somebody there videotaping it, and we're gonna do it 100%. I'm telling you, this may be the one and only time this ever happens. I want to make sure I capture every moment.
Lights. I would tell you right now. Contact Billy Graz.
Yeah,
he has lights.
Okay, so we'll
see what he says.
Yeah, we'll work it out. But let's see. Let's start with practices, and then we'll take it to the next step. I'm just thinking of hiring one person who does lights, PA, comes, sets everything up. We don't have to touch anything. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to borrow anything. Somebody who's professional and will do the whole thing for us. I am going to go all out on this one because I am pumped for this. I really am. I've been practicing every single night working on these tunes, so I'm looking forward to it. But let's end the show. For this night, I appreciate Jeff that as it is always coming on and doing this with me every week.
And I got the computer to work before I actually got on.
I saw that. So, well, all things are getting started off better.
I can argue with fucking Frank Catalano too.
Listen, it's reminiscent of the old half man days. That's all I can tell you. It's great.
He's just a little bigger now. That's all.
That's all. And a little less drunk.
And less bumps.
Yes. All right, guys. Listen, you guys have a great rest of your night, a great rest of your week, a great weekend, and a great next week. Enjoy the NFL football. And come on back next Thursday night when Jeff and I get together and do this all over again. So for Jeff, myself, and everybody at the Hard Rocket Sports Show, have a great night and a great week. And we'll see you next Thursday night on the Hard Rocket Sports Show. Hefe, I'll talk to you off the air.
You got it, man.
Later, my man.
Later.
End.